All right. Good evening, all of you crazy kids. Yeah. Monday. Unbelievable weekend. Hope you had a great one. It's Memorial Day, so I'm assuming everybody's got the day off. Pretty close, barbecuing, hanging out with us here. And, it's a great day to have Steve Murillo on with us. Naval Academy graduate, Marine Corps fighter pilot, and all that stuff. So we're going to have a great conversation tonight. Getting ready here. I wanted to say that I went through the studio today and replaced all of the Cat 5 cables with Cat 6A, and they were just failing. And it turned out that was the issue, and it was just weird. One went down, another one went down, and I was replacing them. But anyway. Blazing fast. What a difference cables make, right? So the studio's all sussed out. Turned out that was the video problem last week. That was one cable. A couple of weeks ago, another one went down when I lost the internet on another computer, and I thought it was the internet card, and I thought it was all this weird stuff, and just turned out to be cables, and they all went, they were just failing all together. So nonetheless, everything is ripping fast, cool, clean, and there you go. So that was my day today. And now, busy weekend. Was over at Coast to Coast Friday and Saturday, of course, Fade to Black all last week. We got ready for CITD yesterday. That was our only, few hours to work on that. And we've got Fade to Black, and then boom, we head out to Contact in the Desert. So we're not going to broadcast Thursday. We're taking Thursday off. We'll be on the road, and then we're getting ready for the big Friday night broadcast out of Contact in the Desert. I go live in 4 seconds. Enjoy the show.
Radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985. You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Good evening. Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. Yeah. It's another Monday. Happy Monday to you. May 28, 2018, 147 days into the new year, just 218 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in beautiful downtown Burbank, California, and I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States, hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the Planet. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Man, I love Mondays. Tonight, on this Memorial Day, We have very special guest Steve Murillo is here. Now, we're going to talk UFOs all night long, every single side of it. From somebody that graduated from the United States Naval Academy, Marine Corps fighter pilot, director of MUFON Los Angeles for 13 years. Now he runs UPARS right here in Studio City, California. They get together every single month. And UPARS, I'm going to guess and say it's 100, 150 every single month. You know, and depending on what the subject is, and it cranks up to about 200 every single month, year after year after year. Steve Murillo has been getting it done right here in Los Angeles, California. So hang out for that. He goes back all the way to, and I say this every time he's on the show, and we joke and kid about it, but he was our first guest on Fade to Black. And what he means to the UFO community and how long he has been getting it done, it just cannot be measured. And he is a very, very close friend of myself and Rita, of course, his wife, Pat, and Steve, and the four of us. We go out often. They're over at our house for dinner as often as we can get that done, because I appreciate not only their friendship, but his intelligence and his take on things. It's really funny. I talk a lot. I don't talk that much when Steve's around. I shut up. He starts talking, and it's that respect. So tonight he is here. Really looking forward to another great conversation with Steve. Tomorrow night, Daryl Sims is back. Tomorrow night, Daryl Sims will be joining us. And Wednesday is a special Fader night with open lines all night long. John Rappaport is on the road. He's doing a road trip. And we'll be doing the same on Thursday. So we are moving Fader night to Wednesday night. So get ready for that. It'll be open lines all night long. Thursday, we are on the road. We're heading out to Palm Springs, California for Contact in the Desert. And as soon as we get there, and I'm sure that a bunch of you will already be there, we've got to set up the booth and get ready. And there's a couple of parties that we've got to attend Thursday night, and then get ready for the action that will kick off Friday, June 1st. And that's it. This is Contact in the Desert week. Really looking forward to hanging out with all of you. Yes, I get your email and I get your texts and your tweets and your post and everything saying, I can't wait for Contact in the Desert. And that's it. It is now officially here. Winding it down. Friday night, we'll be broadcasting live from Contact in the Desert. We do that every single year. And the first year that we did it, we came up with this crazy idea. All right, we've got all these speakers here. We've got, this on. Let's just bring on as many guests as we can. And so every 15 minutes, we bring in 2 more guests. And we do that for 3 hours. And we thought it was, all fun. And now it's a tradition. It's what we do. But you're going to want to, if you've never listened to a Contact in the Desert special before, check it out on Friday night, and you'll see the madness go down. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's such a good time. So that'll be happening this Friday night. Okay, so let's get this show cracking. I'm ready. It's Monday, and thank you for spending your Memorial Day with us today. I hope that you're enjoying your time off. If you do work, if you're retired, maybe you don't have a job yet, and you're still in school, whatever it is, but it's still Memorial Day, and I hope you spend it with friends and family and took advantage of what this day is here for, which is, for everybody that has served in the military and gave the ultimate sacrifice. And I used to talk about this a lot, but no matter what your position is on the United States or other state actors around the world or military or war or whatever, none of that is good. But one thing is for sure, the freedoms that we have in this country are protected, and the ability for me to speak on this microphone every single night, for you to listen to me, and those freedoms of that are here. And we just can't ever really lose sight of that. And I get, before I move on, I just want to say this on this Memorial Day. I'm an Army brat, and and when you live on military bases and you're with the military, and you see that all around the world, and the military families, and you go to school with the kids and everything, it's a family that is out there, and you really just it's a tight-knit group. And so when it comes around to things like this, and I say things about our freedoms here, and then I'll get the emails, Jimmy, man, the United States imperialistic out there fighting, how can you defend, and how can you, and my response to that when I get those emails is, dude or dudette, the reason why you can even write me that email and complain is because your freedoms are defended and protected. So don't lose sight of that. If the email said, Jimmy, imperialistic, this, that, and wars and people dying, but at least I can type this email and my freedom is protected, but I'm still upset about it, that's the correct email. But, so don't lose sight of that, especially on a Memorial Day. All right. Now, on Stellar, I just tweeted out, you can follow us over at On Stellar. We've got all of our stuff moved over there. You can send me a friend request, onstellar.com. If you haven't registered, just go to onstellar.com. Use my referral code, Jimmy. That'll get you in and get you some bonus tokens and all of that stuff. But that's at onstellar.com. So send me a friend request. We have Fade to Black over there. We've got Rita is over there. We've got Game Changer Network is over there. And we're slowly migrating all of our internet presence and social media over to OnStellar, onstellar.com. Get over there, get registered, and you will see there's a lot of talk about OnStellar and what it is. It is the next great social media platform. And you've just got to go over and check it out for yourself and know that there's no data mining, there's no advertising, there's no corporate structure, there isn't the man, none of that. Freedom of speech, no censorship, an amazing place to go and hang out. It is the future of social media. It is the Internet 3.0. It is growing every single day. You need to come over and hang out with all of us. All right? It's great. The more people that are there, the more that when the blockchain kicks in, the more that our little token economy is active. And you need to really absorb that. Right now, we're still in beta test, and it is this huge success. But it's getting ready to really, really kick off. So you just want to go over there, get there now, and get in early. Just imagine for a second if you were around for Facebook when it was in beta test and you were part of it, and you would be able to tell, hey, man, I was there. Well, that's what's happening right now with OnStellar. You'll be able to tell everybody a couple of years from now, I was there, man. I was listening to Fade to Black. I got in, and I was hanging out. I was there, man. I saw the changes. And I'm being serious. Get over to onstellar.com. You can follow me on Twitter right now at JChurchRadio. JChurchRadio. That's where I hang out during the show. And the sandbox where all the conversations go off in real time is hashtag F2B. Hashtag F2BQ is Fade to Black questions. Okay, for any comments or anything like that during the show tonight. You can also email Jimmy at jimmychurchradio.com. All right. Man, I love my River Moon coffee. Oh, yeah, Tanette Booth. I got to mention this. Tanette Booth, when I said we need a name for the new Fade to Black CBD, right? We need a name for it. Tanette came up with CB Dark. CB Dark. And that's what we're going with. It's called CB Dark. Tanette Booth. Thank you, Tanette. I hope you're out there listening. I haven't seen you post on Twitter, but congratulations on that. It was just amazing. And when I saw it, she called in on the show right after that. And when I saw it, everybody had great suggestions. And they're still coming in, by the way. But CB Dark just hit. It just hit. It hit with me. I was at AOL in the beginning. I know, right? So was I. I remember AOL floppy disk. Yeah, remember that? Before they got, you remember those CDs were coming in the mail every single day. I had so many of those CDs, but I had AOL floppies. Yeah, I remember those days. All right, breaking news. Last week, President Trump canceled the North Korea summit. Today, it's back on. And, well, sort of. I think he forgot that he canceled it. It's kind of weird. It's really weird with Trump right now. And I want the summit to go down. I want a nuclear-free zone over there. I don't want any more threats coming out of North Korea. It'd be really cool for the world, for Guam, right? For South Korea, of course, Japan. But he canceled it. Now it's just like, well, it's back on. So anyway, right now the U.S. is meeting, and apparently they've wrapped up their meetings in North Korea. Maybe they're in a secret location, but now it was suggested today that they're meeting in Washington, I guess, at a secret location. I heard some stories about that. Very bizarre. And this is the other thing that was leaked. They're picking out restaurants. Yeah, they're making dinner plans. So you can't have a successful summit, right, without good appetizers. So they are working on that right now. Yeah, Tanette, you deserve that. Thank you, Olivia. I'm going to retweet that. That's pretty cool. Tanette came through. All right, CB Dark. All one word, by the way, CB Dark. Right? CB Dark, one word. Okay. Where am I at? Don't forget, we're going to be, of course, at Contact in the Desert this week, June 1st through the 4th. We leave Thursday. We get there Friday. But then right after that is our Soul Tech Gathering. And also in between, we'll start to make the announcements on this. June 23rd here in Los Angeles, California, is Disclosure Fest. And I think it's disclosurefest.org. You can go there for information. This is a free festival in downtown Los Angeles at the historical Los Angeles Park, downtown, next to Chinatown. Beautiful, beautiful place. I think it's about 35 acres. Multiple stages, lots of speakers and things to do and hang out. So that's going down June 23rd. I will be there. There is a long list of speakers, and I'll get all of that together and start to make that announcement too. And then right after that, August 9th through the 12th is Soul Tech up at ECETI Ranch. All you have to do is go to soultechgathering.com. And we've got a great list. Now, we're going to be teaching up there. We're going to be teaching. Okay, so Corey Good's going to be there, special guest. We've got James Gilliland, Jason Quitt, Matthew Ryan, Michaela Sheldon, Teresa Inaris, Mary Gabrielle, and John Lund, Dana Harvey. And we've just added a few more speakers, teachers that are going to be there. So we're tightening all of that down. We've got to get it up on the website and get that stuff modified. But I'll start making those announcements in the days and weeks ahead. But we're only selling 300 tickets. That's it, not 301. Don't Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. We have over 850 archive shows, custom apps, Apple, Android, all platforms, just $2 a month. And you can just go to the podcast banner over at jimmychurchradio.com. You can also become a Fade or Not in our membership section on the site, where you get the Bunker Cam. You get commercial-free downloadable archives. You can even get the Game Changer, where you get your Fade to Black gear, autograph hats, T-shirts, all that stuff. Become a member right now. Become a Fade or Not in our membership section on the site. Don't forget all of our sponsors: Life Change Tea, GetTheTea.com, River Moon Coffee, Ancient Life Oil, Sacred Skulls, and Numana Food Storage, and, of course, Bearing Optics. Let's get the show cracking. Happy birthday to today, Gladys Knight. Gladys Knight is 74 years old. Rita and I had the privilege of seeing Gladys Knight, probably 13 years ago, 2005, at the Hollywood Bowl. One of the most incredible shows ever. Just incredible night. And happy birthday, Gladys Knight, 74 years old. Wow. Our dead guy's birthday today. Are you ready? Rob Ford. 1969 to 2016, died at the age of 46. Of course, he was the loud and colorful 64th mayor of Toronto, Ontario, who gained media attention back in 2013 for drug use and aggressive language. Those videos were unbelievable. 2014, despite admitting to using crack cocaine, he refused to resign, though many of his powers were removed by the Toronto City Council. John Tory succeeded him as mayor on December 1st, 2014, while Ford regained his former seat for the city council. He was hospitalized and diagnosed with a tumor in September 2014. He received treatment for the cancer, but was able to go back briefly to City Hall, but ended up dying in March 2016 after chemotherapy was ineffective. Happy birthday, Rob Ford. OTD on this day in history, 1987. Yes, he died. Sarah, he died. Yeah. 1987 on this day in history. Matthias Rust, a 19-year-old amateur pilot from West Germany, takes off from Helsinki, Finland, travels through more than 400 miles of Soviet airspace, lands his small Cessna craft in Red Square next to the Kremlin. He was arrested for violating Soviet airspace and sentenced to prison. He served 18 months before being released, and that was a big deal. My memory says cover of Time magazine. That's what I remember. That was a really big deal. Here's your Fader fact for the day. There are no Walmarts in New York City. That's right. Or Staten Island. Or Brooklyn. Queens. Nope. Nada. You got to go to New Jersey. Or Long Island. But there's no Walmarts in New York City. Can you believe that? Staten Island, Brooklyn, Queens. And you know how I did it? You know how I found that out? I looked up Walmart, New York City today, and went to Google. Looked at the maps. There aren't any. I couldn't believe it. So there's your Fader fact, and I thought that you would enjoy that. There are no Walmarts in New York City. You can walk down. Rita and I, when we were in Manhattan last year, we're walking around, and we wanted to go to. We were eating, and then we had to go to Macy's. I needed a shirt, right? I thought, all right, let's go to Macy's. All right, so we're walking down the street, and across the street from Macy's is a Target. Right? So you got a Target in Manhattan, but you don't have a Walmart. Yeah. The Target's pretty nice, too. It's pretty big. Tonight, very special guest, Steve Murillo, is here. And as promised, we are going to talk UFOs all night long. I just got a text from Steve. So I think he's listening right now. Steve, text me back right now if you're listening to me. I just want to know. Are you listening to the show? I don't know. I wanted to talk about something. Well, I do every night at about this time. I need you to think about this. Our universe is expanding. We hear about this all the time, and it's expanding faster and faster. The rate is increasing. So check this out. I know that I try to drive home with everyone every night just how many galaxies, stars, and planets are out there. And all you have to do is look up, right? Go look at some Hubble images and go and just observe. Man has been doing this forever, looking up at the sky, looking at the stars, right? Well, just imagine one day, and it will happen, when you look up and see nothing. Nada. Eventually, everything will expand to the point where there will be nothing but vast, empty space everywhere. Everything. There will be nothing there. The universe is going to expand to the point where it's going to be billions of light years to the next closest anything. That's what's going to happen. One day, the last star in our universe will die. There will be nothing. Nothing. Everything will be dark. I'm sure by that point, billions from years from now, when the last star dies out, we will have built massive artificial planets, right? Starships, and we'll just drive around to nothing, cruising the blackness of it all. It's a heavy thought, isn't it? Where you could be on Earth and look up and no stars. Our sun, at that point, should still be here. Maybe we will have survived comets and asteroids and everything else that could possibly go wrong. And maybe we'll still be on this planet. Maybe not. But just imagine that for a second, looking up and seeing nothing. Now, at that point, if you were on a ship and you were flying through the universe at that point, cruising through the universe, you wouldn't be flying, and there would be nothing there. You wouldn't see any stars. You wouldn't see anything. Everything would be too far away. You would not see anything. But the things that you might see would be lone, rogue, little lit up photons. It's just crazy little things flying by. But as far as stars go, no. And when the last star goes out, the last star, then there is nothing. There will be nothing. And when the stars die out, and depending on how they want to die and what they want to do, there will literally be nothing left of it either. There'll be nothing in the universe. It's a crazy thought, isn't it? Because today, I mentioned last week, if you held up a dime, I said my guitar pick, right? If you held up a guitar pick at a blank spot in the sky anywhere where there's no stars, right there's 150,000 galaxies with 1 trillion stars in each one, right? Right there. That's what we have. But one day we won't. Strange, isn't it? You know, and when you look at things like that, making contact now, making contact and reaching out is what you want to do. They're getting farther away. We're getting farther away. We're spreading apart. The universe is a sphere, you know, expanding and going, and eventually it's just going to be nothing. It's nuts, right? That's why you come to Fade to Black, because I just want you to trip. I just want you to think. I just want you to stop and go, wow, right. We're only here for a blip, right? Our little lives, you know, our little lives. Let's make as much of it while we are here together. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. I'll be right back with tonight's guest, who was our first-time guest, Steve Murillo. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Email is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. You can follow me on Twitter @jchurchradio. I'll be right back with our guest, Steve Murillo. Stay with me.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
What can I say about the most popular tea on the internet? And what do customers say about Life Change Tea at GetTheTea.com? A lot. But by federal law, we at GetTheTea.com cannot make claims to how this product can enhance your health. We cannot even post our testimonies without being in compliance. So how do we get past the hump? Try our products at GetTheTea.com and see for yourself. You can send us a testimony, but we just can't post it. Bummer. Our products are GMO-free and organic. We pride ourselves in being the best we can be, and we urge you to take charge of your health. We're 11 years strong, and many of our customers have shared their successes with friends and family. Protect your colon. Log on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. GetTheTea.com. GetTheTea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the planet.
Win big with KGRA this summer. Tickets and hotel accommodations to the biggest conferences, autographed books and DVDs, chances to win all-inclusive conference cruises, and private dinners with your favorite KGRA hosts. Click the contest tab at KGRAradio.com for your chance to win big this summer. Your contact for the best alternative talk radio on the planet. KGRAradio.com.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Network and KGRA The Planet. You can follow me on Twitter right now, at JChurchRadio. This segment of Fade to Black is proudly brought to you by Life Change Tea. Go to the banners over at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Click, use the promo code FADER, F-A-D-E-R, and you will get yourself free shipping. Tonight, our first guest and our last guest is Steve Murillo. He attended the United States Naval Academy, where he received his bachelor degree of science in systems engineering in 1982. He was commissioned as an officer in the Marine Corps, attended flight school, served for 7 years of active duty as a jet pilot and maintenance officer for his squadron. After the Marine Corps, he went to TRW, where he became the power subsystem engineer for a satellite program known as the TDRSS, Tracking and Data Relay Satellite System Flight 7. Steve was the MUFON Los Angeles director. He held this position for 13 years, conducting field investigations and, of course, those famous monthly meetings until June of 2013. Now, Steve heads up UPAR's Los Angeles, the UFO and Paranormal Research Society, Los Angeles chapter. He and his group investigate all things UFO and paranormal and have monthly meetings in Studio City, California. You can go to uparsla.org, and I would like to welcome back to Fade to Black, Steve Murillo. Steve, good evening.
Good evening, Jimmy. How are you?
I'm doing good. I just sneezed. I hit the cough button.
That's okay. I just laughed.
Yeah.
How you doing, man? Good to hear your voice.
Yeah, no, it's even better to hear yours, Steve. And I want to welcome you back. It's been too long since you've been on the show, first off, but your life is extremely busy, just like everybody else's, and I just want to thank you for taking the time out for coming on the show tonight so we can have another dynamic conversation. But you've got UPARS, you've got OnStellar, you've got Contact in the Desert coming up this week. You're a very busy man, and every single month after month, you have your your famous meetings out here in Studio City, California. Man, you have never rested, have you?
I do not rest, man. No rest for the wicked, and we're sort of on a mission, you and I, along with a lot of other people out there. And it's about disclosure. It's about forcing disclosure if we can ever think about doing that. And I don't know if we're going to have to. It seems like it's almost happening organically now. And I am so looking forward to Contact in the Desert because we're going to have a great time there. There's going to be a lot of new information revealed, and I've been working on a presentation for the last 2 weeks, and I hope it's good. I hope the audience doesn't fall asleep. But it's going to have a lot to do with what's next? We have disclosure hopefully coming up soon, but then what's next? Once mankind gets their mind wrapped around that reality, what do we do next? Where do we go? Yeah, and because you seem to be at the center of it all. And what I mean by that, Steve, is you doing MUFON for 13 years, the largest MUFON chapter in the world, right here in Los Angeles, and it was big. It was, and now UPARS. Every single month, you gather 100 or 200 people together. What is the atmosphere there like now? What are they talking about? Certainly, when it comes to disclosure. How excited are they? Because you get everybody's opinions out there. Oh, absolutely. Most of these people have been waiting for it for so long, and a lot of them, they've been hearing it year in, year out. It's coming, it's coming, it's coming. But now, it really looks like it is coming. We had kind of a soft disclosure happen in December through the Navy, through Luis Elizondo and all of that. And, we're trying to make sense of all that, trying to figure out, sort the wheat from the chaff, so to speak. But the audience, my people, what I'll call my people, my tribe, they're sort of sitting on the edge of their seat right now. And it's really great timing for something like On Stellar. On Stellar is a team effort, and the team even literally consists of the people that are members. That's really the team. That's what's driving it. But its vision, it was created to sort of continue to drive this narrative, this disclosure narrative. It's a place where people can get together and discuss these things without fear of ridicule, without fear of being made fun of. Everybody on Stellar, here's what I love about this thing, Jimmy. It's a community where everybody there is sort of on the same frequency, on the same vibration, you know what I mean? And we can talk and have actually intellectual discussions about abduction, about UFOs, about free energy, things like that. So that's what On Stellar was designed to be built. That's what it was designed for, is to create that forum. And, there are a ton of things in the works that are going to make On Stellar even better than it already is. So I'm really excited about that.
Well, the thing that makes On Stellar so cool is what makes UPARS so cool, right? I have said this many times, Steve. The first time I went to a MUFON meeting 10 years ago out there in Studio City, and I
remember. I remember this, Jim. Let me interrupt you for a second. I remember you wore a suit. It wasn't. You didn't have a tie on. You had a nice suit on. It was, if I remember, it was kind of a cream-colored suit. And Wolf McCarran introduced me, and you were very humble, but yet I could tell you were there for a reason, a purpose, and it was cool. And God, that was 10 years ago.
I know. That was 10 years ago. And I was sportscasting back then. I wasn't even, I wasn't doing Fade to Black. And so, but anyway, I showed up there, and I this is what I remember. It was so much like what On Stellar is today. I was standing in the middle of the room listening to everybody talk. And I'm listening to Alex Mistretta. I'm literally listening to what he's saying to somebody else about a sighting, and they were referring to another case from 20 years before that and how they were similar. And I turned the other direction, and Wolf is talking to somebody else about, Area 51. And I turned to my left, and somebody's talking about this abduction experience that they went through. And I'm standing there saying to myself, I'm with my people. Everybody here is talking freely, right? They're just letting it all out. And I just felt so at home. And that is exactly what On Stellar represents. And you're absolutely right about that. You having UPARS and being able to put this on every single month, this audience needs to understand. We're talking about 100 to 200 people that get together, not 20, not 10, not 5, but a very large group that gets together every single month. First Tuesday, right?
Third
Tuesday of every month for the last 15 years, right? 18 years. And so anyway,
18 now. Holy smokes!
I know. And that freedom is what people need to just go and share their experiences and what their interests are. And what I found, just like what On Stellar represents now, you with MUFON back in 2000, when you made the change, I guess that was 13, yeah.
2013.
Yeah, 2013.
Middle of 2013.
Yeah. You felt that the paranormal isn't just represented by this community isn't just represented by UFOs. It's everything that falls underneath that umbrella, and that everything could be connected. And you wanted to be able to investigate all things. And that's what On Stellar is. On Stellar is, 0 point energy. It's holistics. It's health. It's the universe. It's Egypt. It's ancient history, lost history, near-death experiences, time travel, parallel worlds, UFOs. Right? That is what this community represents. And and just like what goes on out at UPARS, right? And that's why you decided to make the change.
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah, investigating UFOs, I've said this a million times, investigating ufology, investigating, say, an abduction, you'll find paranormal activity surrounding the individual who's being abducted periodically, or people have seen Bigfoot when they see a UFO, and I did not believe in Bigfoot until just a few years ago when Mistretta and I came across a track with a few other people. We were out actually near East Eddy Ranch and wandering around in the outback, and sure enough, prints. Couldn't believe it. But anyway, so now I believe in Bigfoot. My point is, over the years, we've come to see that all of these things seem to be related in some way. They have some connection, which is outside our normal field of view, outside our normal reference. And I think that investigating that connection, trying to learn, trying to discover what that is, what does it mean? 100 years from now, it'll just be like old hat. Everybody go, oh, why couldn't they figure that out?
Right.
God, it was so obvious. It was right in front of them. They couldn't figure it out. But right now, we're the crazy ones that are out there looking for this. And, down the road, hopefully we'll have a little star pinned on the collar of our shirt because we figured it out.
What did Jan say when Jan Harzan, the executive director of MUFON, did you suggest to him that you wanted to go and investigate ghost and Bigfoot and other things too as well?
That never entered the discussion. Actually, it wasn't for that reason that we departed. There were some other reasons that I don't really want to go into.
No. That's not what I'm suggesting. I was just wondering what how he reacted to that suggestion, and you didn't. Okay, so now let me reverse it.
But on the other hand, and not to put words in Jan's mouth, but I bet you if you asked him now how he feels about some relationship between paranormal activity and ufology, I bet you he'd say he believes in. Again, I can't speak for him, but it's only because there's so much data out there that it's almost undeniable. You have to, once you see there's a pattern, you can't just ignore it.
You want me to call him? I'll call him right now.
Get him on the phone.
Just
Don't put him on the phone. Spot. He's probably eating dinner. No, but Jan's a great guy.
He's a great guy. He's a great guy. But okay,
here's what's interesting. Let me just finish up real quick with Jan. He had a literally nuts and bolts sighting that drove him into this world. I mean, the UFO that he and his brother saw when they were young, I think they were in their early teens. I don't quite remember. But anyway, this thing literally had rivets on it. It was a UFO, classic UFO. It had legs, tripods, what have you. But he said it looked like he saw rivets, he saw rust, sort of a nuts and bolts UFO. So I'm not surprised that through the years he approached the subject from that direction. Do you know what I mean? But then over the years, I bet you, with a lot of seasoning and experience, I bet you he'd have to admit it. Maybe not. I'd love to get him on the phone sometime and talk to him about that. But yeah.
Well, okay, so what would your reaction be if MUFON starts doing Bigfoot?
I'd welcome it. I'd say, hey, welcome. This is awesome because you've just multiplied your workforce. I mean, if we really want to get to the truth of all these things, right, what we have to do is keep an open mind and communicate, right, share information. It can't be about, oh, I discovered this, or I'm the one that figured out that. That ego thing has to go away. And I know that's been prevalent in the past, or among some people, and certainly not Jan. I'm not singling those guys out. But I'm saying, and you know who I'm talking about, these sort of researchers who they're on the circuit and they want to be, they're preening and they're kind of walking around like they have all the answers. And the truth of this phenomenon is you don't have all the answers because the phenomenon is intelligent enough to show you one thing over here and kind of misdirect you when it's actually something over here that it's up to, sort of a sleight of hand thing, like a magician might do. It actually, I think the phenomenon is intelligent and knows what your next move is. It anticipates your next move, and so presents in a certain way, possibly to your expectation.
The part of Bigfoot, I'm still on the fence. Right, I haven't.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, I'm still on the fence. But let's say this: what do we do when ET steps off of the craft and it's frigging Chewbacca? Right.
You say, "Where's Han Solo?"
Right.
Man, let's go.
There is that possibility, and the other part that I find very interesting, and there's been plenty of reports out of Russia, out of China, different mountainous regions around the world where there have been lights and UFOs and a Yeti or a Bigfoot sighting on the same night in the same area in the same towns.
Yep. So what does that mean? What if these things are actually intelligent beasts, if you will? I don't know. I mean, you can imagine just about anything, right? We have to get to the data to actually measure it, but the problem is the data is elusive, doesn't want to be found. So you have to go out there and hunt. And, it's funny, if you have an open heart, open mind, a lot of times that's enough for the phenomenon to present. But if you have sort of a selfish, I'm just kind of like thinking about this, right? For people who fail and people who are successful at this, the people who are at it for themselves tend to shut the phenomenon down. They kind of create this psychic barrier that doesn't allow them to experience the phenomenon. But so this protocol that Stephen Greer came up with, a lot of that is sort of about clearing your mind and opening your heart to the possibility of it, right?
Right.
Projecting not just thought, but actually emotional energy out there in an open way. Now, does that open you up to not just good but evil? Possibly. Bad entities, bad influences, possibly. There is a woman out in Pine Mountain who she's had several visits, not abduction. She doesn't describe abduction, but she has had sightings. And she's had not just sightings of craft, but sightings of beings on the ground, just out in the woods, just outside her house. But she kind of is afraid of it, and she puts this sort of golden barrier around her, when she's meditating, and she meditates regularly, to protect herself from these things. That might have something to do with her Christianity. She was brought up in the Christian world. And so we're trained to, in that world, we're trained to think of angels and demons, right? You have positive and negative.
Right.
So that might be part of it. But maybe there's something to it. We know that in the abduction experience, it's not always pleasant. When you get those little gray guys taking you, it's not always, rosy. I'm sure there are a lot of people out there hearing my words right now and know exactly what I'm talking about. Yet there are also other experiences in abduction where there's a lot of love and light and happiness and a feeling of family, to the point where the experiencer identifies more with the alien beings as their family and feel like they're just some kind of foreigner or interloper on this planet kind of going through a mission. So it's a really, really interesting phenomenon of the abduction.
Well, you bring up a really good point. And Pine Mountain, for the audience, Pine Mountain is about, 50, 60 miles away, just north of us from Burbank, up the 5 freeway. It's not that far.
5, Fraser Park, just go west and you'll hit it. So the astronomers use it because it's an 8,500 foot Pine Mountain is 8,500 feet. Beautiful, huge parking lot up there. So once a month on the new moon, you'll go up there and there are all these astronomers. They have these telescopes the size of a car, literally, like the size of a car, and they're looking at the sky. And you can just walk around and talk to them and do sky watch all night. Cool place. But at the base, I'm sorry, Jim. At the base of that's where Pine Mountain Club is, and there's a little development there that somebody built in the 70s. It's a hot spot, and it's not just this lady that I've interviewed who's had sightings. What brought us out there, Mistretta and Wolf went out there because we had heard of multiple people in the town having a sighting on the same night. So we basically interviewed 3 different people. She was one of them. 3 different groups. and they were all on different parts of the town, so we kind of triangulated the position of this thing when it came down and all that. I mean, it's amazing. And then I had other people from the town calling me later, telling me stories of things that had happened to them. So it's kind of a hot spot.
Well, our cousin, who you've met, by the way, they just bought a house up there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we got a place. We got a place. Yeah, we got a place. We got a place. They've got a nice.
Go up there.
Yeah, we can go up there anytime. Now, but back to my point about Pine Mountain. Here it is. It's 50, 60 miles from Los Angeles, and you would think it's a heavy populated area. Pine Mountain is surrounded by forest that I guarantee you the majority humans have never set foot on. And when we look at our country, it seems like we are everywhere. There's cities everywhere. There's towns everywhere. There's roads everywhere. Everything has been explored. I don't know what the percentage is, Steve. I really don't. But I would say that the majority of the United States, there's no footprints. Nobody has walked across it yet. And now, again, I'm still on the skeptical side of Bigfoot. But there are plenty of places to go and run and hide. And if you don't want to be seen, you don't have to be seen in this country.
That's absolutely true. I'd put a number on it. Maybe 10% of our country's developed. The rest of it's just wilderness.
That's right.
That's I'm just guessing. I don't know, but that's what it feels like to me. And let's just kind of like use our imagination for a second and think about this thing, Bigfoot, right? Okay, so what if it's as intelligent as man, or why not? Why not? Okay, let's give it the intelligence of a man. The camouflage, the mastery of camouflage, that like a sniper from the Marines couldn't do, right? The scent, the nose of the best canine, right? The hearing of the best canine, the eyes of an eagle, right? You would not be able to sneak up on this thing, right? But yet sometimes people report that they kind of like surprise it, and it jumps up and runs. So maybe I'm way off on that. Maybe I'm giving Bigfoot more than he's due. But I can imagine if this thing evolved over the millennia out there in the wilderness like that with an intelligence, even, not as intelligent as man, but more intelligent than an ape, let's say. Maybe that's man. What would it be like? What would that be like? Maybe that's what Bigfoot is. Don't know.
Well, don't know. And back to my point, if you wanted to look, even Ted Kaczynski was able to, disappear.
True. So if you don't want to be found and you know how to run, there you go.
Now, back to the UFO part, where the sightings of Bigfoot and UFOs, there has been enough of that has come together where it seems to be related. It seems like it could be connected. Okay, all right, that's the appearance. But there's the other side of it. There's 2 points that I think are very interesting. One, Bigfoot can disappear very easily. Can vanish, right? We've had plenty of sightings, plenty of sounds, but seems to be able to vanish. I don't know if that's interdimensional. I don't know if that's jumping on a ship. I don't know if that's I don't know. Cloaking. I don't know. But the other part is there hasn't been any offensive intent from Bigfoot, attacking, right, killing. There hasn't been that part of it either, so it doesn't seem like they mean any harm, except for when they throw some rocks once in a while.
Well, kind of a yes and no on that one. If you look into the literature a little bit, the Indians, the indigenous tribes here, and I don't know the exact tribe, reported warring with these things at one time, stealing women and this and that. They were coming in and stealing this tribe's women and running off. And they had a literal war going on with these Bigfoot. And I'm sure somebody out there will Twitter you in what tribe that was. I've heard recent accounts of hunters not necessarily being attacked, but surprised the Bigfoot. In one case, so it's these 2 guys in a boat. Okay, they're fishing, and they're maybe I don't know, 100 feet off the shore, and they're rowing over to this guy's favorite spot to fish. Want to say it was up in Michigan, but I could be wrong. Anyway, so it's these two guys, these two brothers, and neither one had ever had a Bigfoot experience. All of a sudden, this figure out on the shore steps out from behind a tree and heaves a rock at the boat. A big rock, not a little rock, a big, like almost a boulder, and it goes kerplunk just off the bow, right? And one of these guys is not thinks it's some guy out there messing with him, and he's not having any of it. He starts yelling. So the thing throws another rock, almost hits him again. So now the guy's angry, and he rows the boat to shore, jumps out in the water, runs over, and then gets there, and it's this 8-foot tall creature that bellows at him, and the other brother's trying to get out of the boat too. Bellows at him so loud, but this scream that the guy said he could feel it in his chest, resonating, and sort of paralyzed him, and just sort of set him back on his heels when he's trying to figure out what the heck he's looking at. And this thing bum rushes him and knocks him on his ass, and the other guy has a .357 Magnum in his holster, but is so dumbfounded he doesn't even pull it. He doesn't know what to do. They're petrified, and this thing's yelling at them, making all this noise, and then runs behind some trees and takes off, and they're just left there in shock. And they're there in shock. They finally get themselves together enough to get back home, and they go to report this thing to the police, to the local sheriff or whatever it was, constable, and they just sat there in shock, babbling, incoherently. What the sheriff describes as incoherent babble about a Bigfoot, and they kept saying, "You saw a bear, you saw a bear." We didn't see a bear, it wasn't a bear. Anyway,
well, I got to I'm going to take a break. I've never heard that story. I'm going to take a break right here. Our guest tonight, Steve Murillo, talking a little Bigfoot, talking UFOs. We're doing it all tonight. It's Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church, and I don't know why, but I don't have my music. What's going on with that, Steve?
Where's the bumper music?
Is it you? Is it you, Steve? See, it's Bigfoot. It's Fade to Black. It's Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. More with Steve Murillo right after this short break. Stay with us.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Does your basement or crawl space have a damp, musty smell? Well, watch out! That's a sign of too much moisture and not enough ventilation. And that can mean increased mold growth and the buildup of harmful toxins and gases. Don't bother with a dehumidifier. It just circulates the same unhealthy air. Now there's a better way to remove these dangers and odors. It's with the computerized Wave Moisture Control Unit that reduces moisture and expels pollutants.
We replaced our old dehumidifier with the Wave unit, and in only 3 weeks, our basement is dry and the musty smell is gone.
Wave units require no maintenance, no buckets of water or filters, and costs only pennies a day to run. Breathe better, live healthier with an affordable, no-maintenance Wave unit. Call 888-717-WAVE, 888-717-WAVE, or visit dryhealthyhome.com. Dryhealthyhome.com.
Ride the wave. Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy.
I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. Yes. We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And I'm Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. And you're listening to Jimmy Church. The Revolution.
Ancient Life Oil. Life-changing. The real oil. CBD is truly ancient life oil from the source. This oil has no psychoactive effect and is also legal in all 50 states. When you're healthy, you're happy. The truth about this wonderful plant is that it wants to give back to mankind life, longevity, and happiness. Ancient Life Oil are golden grade, all organic, non-GMO, and infused with high-quality liquid coconut oil. It's simple. Just go to ancientlifeoil.com today. That's ancientlifeoil.com. The best, purest, organic, and non-GMO CBD in the world. Go Beckley Tappy. The statements made regarding these products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Please consult your healthcare professional about potential interactions or other possible complications before using any product.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, Steve Murillo. The first guest we had on Fade to Black 5 years ago. Crazy. And he's also our last guest tonight. Steve Murillo. And this segment of Fade to Black is proudly brought to you by River Moon Coffee, makers of the Fade to Black blend. And we've got the new Fade to Black CB Dark coming out in about a month. So get ready for that. Just head over to the River Moon Coffee banners over at jimmychurchradio.com. Use the promo code F2B Black, Fade to Black. It's right there. All right, Steve, I wanted to ask you this. I want to ask you about CBD. Have you jumped on the CBD wagon?
I have tried it. Yeah, love it. I do karate, as you know. A lot of times we'll injure a finger or, sprain something or, bruised ribs. The CBD helps with inflammation. So I really like it for that reason.
Well, we've got Fade to Black CBD coffee coming out.
Seriously?
Yeah.
How do they do that? That's amazing.
Man, scientist. Scientists, man. When it this is what's really fascinating to me. When it comes to the pot today, is not the pot that you and I smoked when we went to go see Foghat in 1977. Right. Yeah, this weed today is a whole nother thing that's going on. Why? Mad scientists, man. These guys. So, but anyway,
jacking up the concentration of THC.
Man, altering the DNA in those seeds.
Oh, yeah, that's true, right?
Yeah, that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing.
So is that a GMO? Is that a GMO? I'm not doing that.
I would suppose that would be GMO weed. That's right.
Not touching it.
But yeah, they figured out a way to infuse Fade to Black blend with CBD. And so you just grind up those beans and you get your dose, man. And I can't wait. I cannot wait for this to come out. I do CBD every single day. Rita and I.
So now, why do you use? Sorry to interrupt. What do you like it? What do you like about it?
For me, it's more about an alignment. It keeps my body correct. The immune system, like inflammation is. So much of what ails us, that causes all kinds of other things that happen to you. And so I think the CBD just keeps me correct. I do a lot of supplements. I do a lot of supplements every single day. And I didn't used to be so disciplined with it. And so I racked my body, up and down stairs for 45 years of just reckless abandon. Didn't really care. Thought that life lasts forever. But I was, just like everybody else, I was getting sick all the time. I always had issues. I had this going wrong and this going wrong. And for the last 5 years, since I've started seriously doing supplements every single day, it corrects, I think, the damage that I do throughout the week. Lack of sleep. I work too much. I eat whatever I want. I drink a lot of coffee. I work. I'm a workaholic, but I haven't gotten sick. I have not gotten sick. Yeah. And so
you got to exercise, Jim. You got to move around a little bit.
Yeah, just so the audience knows, Steve is always going, "Hey man, come hang gliding with me." Nah.
It's so close to you. You would love it.
I know. It's right there. Now, okay, so let's get back to the discussion on UFOs. You've been fully investigating this for the last 18 years. At every level, you've had some of the strangest and biggest cases brought to you through MUFON, through contacts, through people that have reached out to you. How are we today different than we were 18 years ago about understanding what UFOs are? Because if you stop and think about it, we've come a long, long way from the way we perceive things 18, 20 years ago to our understanding of the universe and physics and other things today. How has it changed for you?
Good question. Originally it was a nuts and bolts thing, kind of like what Jan Harzan's approach was a bit originally. When I first had my first sighting, I realized, okay, well, this is a technology we're not familiar with. It's a technology that involves zero gravity, right? The nulling of gravity, so zero inertia, free energy. They're not filling up at the gas station. So those sorts of things. But then as time has gone on, consciousness comes into play, right? And the ability, so let's take just some of the phenomenon associated with ufology, with UFOs, okay? Oftentimes, when a witness has a UFO sighting, they get downloaded. What does that mean, downloaded? It sounds hokey. Well, there is a communication that goes on or appears to go on between the object and the witness, but often the communication is not, the witness can't can't put it to words. He knows something, but he doesn't know what he knows. It might come in the form of very rapid imagery. It might not even come in that form at all. It may be just subliminal, but they feel like they know something or are given some sort of a message or messages. And that download will be enough to drive somebody to do some pretty crazy things. Like I think I've told you this before, there was a guy in Scotland who had a sighting on New Year's Eve when he was hammered, drunk. This triangle came up on him, and he had this experience, and when it left, he was stone cold sober. Everybody else at the party was still drunk, and he dropped everything he was doing because he was he made commercials for a living, production guy. He dropped what he was doing and decided he was going to prove to the world that UFOs were real, and he flew to the United States and started shooting documentary. And he came to MUFON when we were MUFON, and he interviewed me, and he came out to Manhattan Beach, interviewed me here as well. And I don't know what's happened to him, but my point is that these episodes can be profound, have a profound effect on the witness. So there's a psychic. So there was my point there. There was a psychic, non-physical communication going on. No words. So there's that psychic. There's always telekinesis involved in witnesses being on craft. Right? They're made to do things like a lot of these abductees are made to train to move objects with their mind. Playing with blocks, moving them around. When they're kids, they're encouraged to do that as kids. I mean, there's some strange things that go on. So what is all that? And then when we watch a UFO move, it's too bad that the phrase UFO was coined so long ago, because there's nothing flying about these things. They don't fly like a plane flies. Excuse me. They move through our space, but they move, the way I see it, they translate through our time space in infinitesimal steps. And I don't know how to, to me they're time travelers, these things.
I remember, this was a long time ago, probably 4 years ago, before I had my sighting out at Contact in the Desert. And you were telling me about, you guys were out doing a sky watch in the desert, and this light shows up in the sky, and you guys started to do laser communication with it, and it flashed back, and then you did it, and it flashed back at you. And that is something that I hadn't experienced yet. And when most people hear about that, they just don't get it, right? They just think that we're seeing things. It's just lights in the sky. It's explainable. You go out there, right? And you go out there and you experience that for the first time. That's an epiphany. That's a mind blower. It's a mind blower, and
that's a game changer right there. Yep.
And you tried to express your epiphany to me, and I wasn't buying into it. Right? I mean, well, I was listening to you, but right. I didn't get it, and I know how people react when I tell them about my experiences. I just don't think that they're buying into what I'm selling. That was a first-time experience for you when you had that communication with that Skywatch. Tell the audience about that.
Well, we had gone out there, and I forget what year. I'll say it was 2003. Sandra Marsh was an experiencer who was part of our board at the time. Very, very psychic, very intuitive. She had a lot of interesting gifts. And one of them was she could pull these things in, and so she volunteered. She was talking about it one time, and I said, "Well, let's go. Let's put a band together and let's go. Let's go out to the desert." So she agreed, and we did. So we spent the day prepping for this. Okay, we got there in the early afternoon, and she had brought a bunch of spoons and forks, silver. And the first thing she was going to do, we were all going to bend spoons. And I'm like, okay, what's going on here? This is kind of hokey, right? So she hands me a fork, and she's got us in a circle, and she's talking, and she's telling us to rub them, and I'm rubbing my fork, and I'm looking around going, what the hell is this, And then sure enough, I'm looking at my fork, and it starts to curl. And as she's talking, and then some of the other people, same thing. And these things got contorted. Mine did like a spiral. And I thought, okay, maybe, I heated the metal with my hand. I wasn't rubbing it hard, but okay, the heat from my hand, your mind is making up these excuses, right? And, so that kind of put us in the right frame of mind. In other words, it kind of shifted us a little bit, right? Then comes nightfall, and we go out to this mound where we're all going to do the sky watch. And we start when it got dark. We're up there. We got our lawn chairs out. People have their blankets on them so they don't get too cold. And we're all just staring up at the sky. I'm standing the whole time. Hours go by, and while we're standing, as the hours go by, she keeps saying, "They're right there." And she's pointing to a certain spot in the sky. They're right there. They're watching us. They know we're here. And she's going on and on and on. And I'm looking up there. I just see a few stars. No big deal. And so sure enough, at around 2:30, 3 o'clock, the guy next to me, who's also standing up, goes, "Whoa, it just flashed me." I go, "What?" He goes, that star right there just flashed me. And it wasn't a laser. He had one of those little LED lights from REI, the ones that you can light your key, the keyholes you can get into your house. It wasn't bright, it wasn't bright. It was just a little white LED light.
Right.
And so he goes, "It just flashed me." I go, "Flash it back." So he gives it 2, boom, boom. And sure enough, I'm looking up at this star, and the star goes 1, 2, flashes on and off twice. And now I'm like, what the? Give it 3. So the guy gives it 3, and now everybody's getting excited around us, and because I'm getting loud. And he gives it 3. It gives us 3 back, and now everybody just starts, noticing this thing. There were 20 people up on that mound, and we're all screaming. And as we're getting excited, this thing got very, very bright, almost as if it was coming down and getting closer to us. But I don't think that's what was happening. I think what it was doing was just getting super bright, like the iris of an eye just opening up with super bright white light. And everybody's screaming, and some people are like getting scared. Other people are saying, "Come get us," and making crazy comments. And then as soon as there was a girl next to me, I could hear her kind of crying, not crying, but kind of like, "Oh no," she was getting scared. And as soon as that happened, the thing went shoom back down to a little beady light like a star, and then it just moves across the sky. I mean, like maybe moves across half the sky, and joins up to these other 2 stars, and they form this perfect triangle. And I saw, an equilateral triangle, and they're all there. Now you've got this geometric shape in the sky of a triangle, and then the 3 lights rotate about the axis. They start to turn, and everybody, I'm just dumbfounded at this point. I'm just like, what the heck?
Right.
And I'm just, this is unbelievable. And then they just sort of as if like they're getting squeezed together and getting dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. So they're coming together and dimmer and dimmer and dimmer, and then they're just disappear into the black. And I could, nobody could believe it. And I was like, did that just happen? And everybody's just looking around, and we stood there for another hour or 2, hoping something else would happen. Nothing else happened for that night. And now here's the funny thing. There were 2 guys who, one was my predecessor, Mark Hunziker, who's just recently passed away. God rest his soul. He passed away maybe 3 weeks ago. But Mark was the guy that I replaced. He held the post for, I think, 6 weeks, something like that. Anyway, he was there, and his buddy Bruce Austin was there. Now, Bruce, these guys were both board members of MUFON. And Bruce was Air Force intelligence, and then was a contractor in El Segundo that worked for, let's call it a think tank. All right?
Right.
When he came to our meetings, he was never really interested in listening to the speaker, never really interested in anything going on with the meeting. He just sort of like sat there and messed with his phone and wasn't really paying attention to anything. He didn't seem interested in the subject. He was a laughable guy. He was a nice guy, but he just didn't seem into the subject at all. And then there was Mark, who they were close, and Mark, Mark was just into partying and, whatever. And those 2 guys were on the mound with us, but they left. Allegedly they were there to have, do this thing, but they left before all of the fireworks started, right? So they went into their tent, went to sleep, and they missed a huge event, in my mind, a huge event. So were they made to leave? I don't know. That often happens in ufology. One person or a group of people are made to leave or turn the other way, or, like my wife, when I had my sighting, she forgot her wine and she had to go downstairs to get her glass of wine. She didn't have the sighting. So just a lot of weird, kind of cliches in the ufology world happened that night, and but it was a phenomenal sighting. It convinced me that there are some people who can call in this phenomenon. I refer them, in my mind, I call them strange attractors, from the physics theory. But
well, one of my favorite stories to tell, and since you're with me, I'm sure we've done it on the air before, but it's just a great story because you and I and Alex and some Fadernauts 4 or 5 years ago at Contact in the Desert, man, if we didn't summon that thing on our patio that night, I don't know what you would call summoning, because that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And
almost called it out.
Yeah, called it out. So we're standing there. There's probably 10 of us out on the patio. Rita and I rented this little cabin literally in the middle of the desert. Yep. And so we're out on the patio. I don't know, it's probably midnight. And it's you, myself, Alex Mistretta, Rick Sinnott was out there, Space Boy was out there, Walter was out there, and then who was your friend that looked like Kenny G?
I can't remember. I don't know.
He can't. You brought.
He totally threw me off.
He looked.
I don't know.
Oh, come on, your friend. Yeah, he looked like Kenny G with the long hair, the young guy. He rode with you in the car. We went and picked up the pizzas together.
I don't. Oh, God. Oh, no, I don't have his name. I'm sorry.
Okay, but Kenny G. So Kenny G's there. We got Kenny G. And and we're out on the patio, and somebody says, "Wouldn't it be cool, man, if a UFO just showed up right now?" And like at that moment, somebody says, "Whoa!" And we all turn and look, and this thing shot up from the desert floor. The best way that I can describe it, Steve, was it was a white glowing ball, and it just shot straight up from the desert floor and went up to the stars and lasted. Well, I mean, now that's what I remember. How would you describe it?
Yeah, like a shooting star in the opposite direction, but it wasn't no arc. It went straight up.
Straight up.
At a high rate of speed. And that, here's what's cool about that. That's contact in the desert, kind of in a nutshell. I mean, the name says it all. Last time we were there, last year, there were a bunch of people with these night vision goggles out, the newer versions. What's the latest version? It's like generations, like I think third generation or fourth generation.
Yeah, Gen 3, yeah.
Gen 3, yeah. So all these people had them. I couldn't believe how many people had these expensive goggles on their head. And, you were doing your show. This is, I think, Friday night, right, when you have all the different speakers come and talk. Just say hello, right, to your audience.
Mm-hmm.
And they were doing night vision out there in the just in the parking lot. You know what I mean? Right over near where you were. And somebody calls and goes, "Hey, man, you want to see some UFOs? They're doing it right now." I'm like, "What?" "Yeah, they're seeing a bunch." I'm like, "Get out of here." "Okay, yeah, sure, I'll go." So I go out there, and there are these people standing around their car, and I go, "How many of you guys seen?" I'm thinking they're going to say 5, 3. The guy goes, "We're up to 84. I started laughing. I go, "Yeah, right, whatever, man. Give me the glasses." So they hand me the glasses, and they have the laser thing, and one guy's already looking, and he goes, "There's one." And I'm like, and he's pointing to with a laser, so it's really easy to pick it up with yours, right? You can see where he's pointing. I look, and sure enough, man, flying Dorito. A flying Dorito. The triangular with the little lights on it, and it's just moving across the sky like nobody's business. I'm like, what? And then, minutes later, there's another one. And they were just like everywhere. It was like Grand Central Station for ufology. I couldn't believe it. These guys, and then they were just like putting little hash marks on a little piece of paper, counting them. It was crazy, man.
I don't know. And now I'm the opposite of the CE5 protocol. Okay, that may work for Greer and his group. That's fine. Whatever works for you is fine.
Right.
I believe in the opposite of that. No meditation. Let's have a quiet moment. Screw that.
No kumbaya for you, huh?
No, man, screw that. Let's get loud. Let's have some fun. Let's laugh. Let's enjoy the moment. Because every time that I step into one of those groups, I want the electricity elevated. I want everybody whooping and hollering, and we have had the most amazing things go down. And I've had people come up to me, "Shh, Jimmy, you can't be like that." No, I can, and I am.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, and you will.
Yes.
No, yes, you can. Like you said, whatever works for you. If you have a protocol and that works, then do that, But wouldn't it be nicer if you could just relax and be yourself and show up and go, have contact, have communication, have an experience.
Right.
And that's what happens out there. That's what's happening out there. So I hope some of your listeners are going to join us. This is going to be I can't wait, man. This weekend is going to be spectacular. I know it is.
Unbelievable. That we are just a few days away from Palm Springs. I cannot wait. I just cannot wait. It's going to be so much fun. Let's take a break right here. I want to stay on this conversation, though, because the way that I feel is that when somebody, and I want you to think about this during the break, when somebody says to you,
Oh, man, what do we know today that we don't already know when it comes to UFOs? We don't know nothing. Nothing has changed. Ain't anything different now. Okay, so Steve, think about that. Get a little angry, and I want your response when you come back, because when I hear that, my blood gets a little bit warm. I'm not cool with that, because somebody is not taking this serious. You know, I think they're trolling me when they say things like that. We'll be right back.
They probably are trolling you.
I know, right? Our guest, Steve Murillo. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously, go Beckley Tappy.
Do you worry a lot? Whether you're a college student, busy professional, parent, or grandparent, ongoing stress and elevated levels of the stress hormone cortisol can rob your memory, your health, and your future. Now you can combat the effects of stress and anxiety while improving your memory and recall at the same time with the dietary supplement Calm and Clever. Studies show that the ingredients in Calm and Clever reduce cortisol by as much as 30% in 1 to 2 weeks. Call 1-800-758-8746 or calmandclever.com.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRARadio.com.
Hi folks, what can I say without making claims? CBD is truly the buzzword for health. What does it do? Government institutions will not allow me to say what this wonderful oil does for us. But I can say it's non-GMO and organic. I can say it's 0.003 THC, which in plain English means you won't get high. There are those that want to squash your freedom to buy natural products. Fight back with your purchase power. In the end, it is you that takes care of your health. Go to ancientlifeoil.com. One more time, ancientlifeoil.com.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, Steve Murillo. It's kind of funny. Our first guest and our last guest.
This segment of Faded Black is brought to you by Numana, emergency food storage for you and your family, made right here in America. Just go to the Numana banner over at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code Jimmy, and you'll get yourself an autographed Faded Black shirt, and you're going to get a discount. Visit Numana today. So, Steve, back to the question. When somebody comes up to you and says, we haven't learned anything, there's nothing new today. Nothing has changed ever when it comes to UFOs. How do you react to that?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. You get a little angry. It's true that we've come a long way. And, let's just take soft disclosure, for example, okay? That came out in December. So for one, the Pentagon admits, hey, these things exist. We've been studying them. Okay, so now we have a soft disclosure. We've been studying something, don't know what it is. Whatever this thing is we're studying can do things that our aviation is not capable of doing. Velocities, turning capabilities that far exceed what we have in present, technology. They can cloak, right? They have the ability to go invisible, but not to our FLIR. Forward-looking infrared can see these things. And I was thinking about it. That's what the Tic Tac UFO was. Visible on FLIR, but not visible to the naked eye for a while, right? That also happened in the Campeche incident back in, I think it was 2006, when the Mexican Air Force was out there looking for drug runners trying to cross the California border, and they came across some things that appeared on their FLIR and followed them around for a while. So it's not the first time that, but when they looked outside, they couldn't see them, but they could see them on their FLIR.
Right.
So it's not the first time. Hey, that the Pentagon is funding this thing, right? Harry Reid got the financing. What was it? $20 million for 5 years, was it?
Yep, 22 million.
$22 million for 5 years, which is a pittance, right? That's like a spit, but it's sort of an admission that yes, some money has been going towards this. So those minor admissions will lead to sort of open the door. They crack the door for us. And they'll lead to larger disclosures down the road. But I think it's sort of a testing of the waters. Sort of like what UFOs do. They sort of mess with your perception. They give you a little bit at a time so that, not always, because sometimes they just give it to you all at once and you lose it.
Right.
But I think it's kind of a cat and mouse with the consciousness. And I think sort of that's what the government's doing, or that's what whoever's controlling this information is doing. But I think this is going to lead to larger disclosures. For example, Catherine Austin Fitz, former HUD accountant, she was right there, knew where all the money was going. She thinks that $21 trillion now, I just listened to an interview with her, $21 trillion has gone missing. Trillion, not billion, 21 trillion. And that's just what she and her associates have been able to identify. She has only so much manpower workforce to put at this thing, but 21 trillion, that could finance a secret space program. That could put people on other planets that we don't know about. So small disclosure leading to larger disclosures down the road. So what have we learned about UFOs that we didn't know before? We know they exist. We know they have propulsion systems that I bet you we already have in our own inventory, our own technology. We've harnessed that technology. It's just not being given to the public, which I think is literally criminal. So the larger population of the planet is being kept as slaves, basically, to this information. Do you agree?
Yeah, well, it's the original, and we all had to think like this because we were trying to figure this out, but the original thoughts and theories were about these spacecraft coming across the galaxy from a distant star system to here in a traditional sense, right? A motor, right. Somebody at a steering wheel, right? A joystick, and it's just tooling across the universe until they find planet Earth. Clearly, that wouldn't be the case. I bring up a couple of things when we talk about the insides of these spacecraft, and there has been enough witnesses out there describing what they have seen. What I often ask about, were there bedrooms? right? How were they sleeping? Where were they eating? If you're going to spend 10,000 years in in a little flying saucer in a little tiny room, there's got to be other things. And now, so if that is indeed the case, then it's not that they were traveling for 10,000 years at close to the speed of light in these craft. They got here easier. It's a walk in the park for them. So we have to look at it that way. It's simple. It's easy for them to do.
It's faster than light travel, and therefore that's why I think they're time travelers. These things, and if multi-dimensions exist, then I think they're multi-dimensional.
Is there now, when you say time travelers, are these time travelers E.T. or are these time travelers us?
The whole thing about it's us coming back to help ourselves, and that's possible, of course, but I think it's a little bit egocentric to think that it's just us. It excludes the possibility that there's these other beings out there that could possibly be, light years ahead of us in terms of technology. You know what I mean? It's well, let's look at Rendlesham. That's the story, right? That craft was us from the future coming back to help us or to help them. And I don't know, man. Do you buy that?
It's a possibility. What I would think is that if a time traveler came from, if we came back to visit us from 10,000 years in the future, we wouldn't even recognize what humans are, right? I'm not even sure if we would have bodies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know if we could communicate or relate. If you
Jim,
went
I hope
back,
we have all our hair in the future.
Well, Steve, if you went back, 150 years and you went back to the old West, but you were yourself, right, Steve Murillo today, and you went back, how would you communicate? You wouldn't be able. They wouldn't. You guys wouldn't. It would be a total breakdown. There would be something lost in the translation. Sure. Now let's talk about a 10,000 year, time travel visit. I'm not so sure that we would even recognize or be able to relate to. Now, going back to Rendlesham and also to this recent Pentagon buddying up that they seem to, be doing with the UFO community. You were in the Marines. You were a fighter pilot. You graduated from the U.S. Naval Academy, but you're also a ufologist, and you ran, MUFON LA for 13 years. Do you trust the Pentagon when they're coming forward with UFO stuff right now?
Of course not. Not at all. Listen, they've been studying this phenomenon. Here's what I think. Okay, so I think, Roswell happened. We got a hold of that technology. It was sequestered. Working groups formed around it. And then the intelligence community sort of, isolated that subject so well that not even higher ups in the intelligence community knew about it. And that went on and created the secret space program or a breakaway civilization, as we like to talk about it. Meanwhile, the normal day-to-day military is handling this information as well, but doesn't have the confirmation of Roswell, doesn't know that it actually happened. So they're still treating it seriously because it's not something they understand, and they continue to, first they give you, Project Blue Book, which of course should have been called Project Snow Job, but it's just a PR move, and they kept that going, and then Project Blue Book is closed, right? Never had, it's solved. There are no UFOs, but of course, UFOs continue to penetrate our skies on a daily basis, and they're dealing with that, right? How do they deal with it? Disinformation, ridicule, the whole nine yards, the whole CIA mind job that they've been perpetrating on the public for all these years since the early 50s.
So why would we be expected to trust the Pentagon today?
We should. Definitely I love Elizondo's cover story. He's a disgruntled employee, and that's why he's coming out and blah, blah, blah. I mean, oh, my God, come on. Give me a better story than that. But, at the same time, I like the guy because at least he seems like a likable guy, and he's approachable, So I'm glad they chose him to be their mouthpiece for a while. But the cover story cracks me up.
What do you mean they chose him? You think the Pentagon is letting? Is he under instruction? When you say chose?
Oh yeah. He's part of He's part of the Disclosure Project. He's going to be the first little pebble rolling down the hill, and then he'll end up doing something else, and somebody else will step forward, and then it'll be that guy, and bigger news, and blah blah blah. So I think he was the first step, and they're testing the waters again to see how the public responds, to see what comes of this information being put out there, and so far it's been fairly innocuous. Nothing's happened.
Yeah, completely innocuous. Now, what do you make of that? Because if they were testing the waters, well, the waters didn't even ripple.
Didn't ripple. Yeah, think about the public. We've been, programmed, one, not to believe in UFOs, but two, throughout the 60s, starting with Star Trek and all these different shows, Star Wars and boom, 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 our psyche has been programmed to accept this possibility, right?
Desensitized.
Yeah, we've been desensitized to it. So, when it finally plays out, hey, they're really here, and by the way, they look like, 8-foot-tall reptilians, and everybody's like, oh, yeah? Oh, okay. What's for dinner?
Yeah, I saw that in Lost in Space with Dr. Smith.
Saw it on Star Trek when Kirk had to fight that reptilian. Remember that? Still
one of the best scenes ever in the history of television.
Awesome.
But the slee stacks.
The slee stacks. Can't forget them.
And we can't. But the world didn't collapse. Right, you had the Condon Report, and you had the Brookings Institute, and the original 1953 report that when all of these things were suggesting at that time about a breakdown in civilization and Wall Street, economic collapse, and lawlessness, religions, everything would just completely fall apart if the reveal came out that E.T. was here. But the reveal did happen. It's certainly, you can't get better coverage than what the mass media did. But we're still here.
We're still here, and not much is going on. No one's talking about it. 2 weeks after the disclosure or the event, no one's talking about it. When it finally really hits home, and the president finally says, or whoever our profound leader is at the time says, hey, guess what? They're here. They've been here. We've been hiding them because this or that. The people that I think have suffered the most are the abductees, the experiencers, because it hasn't been pleasant for those people. A lot of psychological trauma, a lot of physical trauma. Just about. Well, I don't want to get into it, but a lot of women I know who have been abductees. And are now in their later years, they've all had female problems, hysterectomies and things because of their experiences. So it hasn't been pleasant for them. And, a lot of them have had psychotic breaks, things like that. They don't deal well with crowds. They have all kinds of strange, little neuroses because of the experiences. So not all. Some have adapted and have done fine, but those people, if the government owes an apology to any group of people, it will have to owe an apology to them and say, hey, we knew about this, we just couldn't protect you, we couldn't stop it. Or, if you believe my labs, we knew about this, and we were also, sort of like doing mock experiments to see how you'd respond to that as well. It's really kind of messed up. So I don't know how that's going to go, Jim. But it's a very small fraction of the population.
Well, the MyLab side of things, the super soldiers, MK Ultra, a lot of these clandestine CIA projects that not only were instituted here in the United States, but certainly outside of the country where laws don't apply here inside of the United States. It appears that this has been going on for a while. And I think that part of this can be put back into the UFO question, too, as well, where an abduction, which is all too real, some underground base where you're taken to and the examination table, could all have been just a fantastic movie set up by the government to share that experience of abduction. So you can go out, because the experience is real. So you go out and you report about this experience. Either you're crazy or there are those that are going to support you on this. But it wasn't an ET experience at all, and it was something that was staged.
Right. But and how nefarious is that, to perpetrate something like that on, an unsuspecting and unwitting person, just a regular person like you and me.
Well, which I think is part of the point of disclosure, because if this starts to surface in an uncontrollable way, where now the government's going to have to go back and answer a lot of questions and certainly speak the truth about the lies that they have been dealing with for the last 70 years, and then there's the other parts of this puzzle that have to come into play, like MK Ultra and Mockingbird and the MyLabs program and possibly even the super soldiers and the other things that are connected, because they are connected.
Yeah, all of it controlled clandestinely. We're paying for it, but they're doing it, paying for it with our taxes. Isn't that crazy? You're paying for a guy to come into your house and take you away and perform these experiments on you, and then plop you back in your bed and drugged up or who knows what.
Well, you see now, which is, I think, is one of the most important things that we can speak about, because disclosure, like I said, the waters didn't even ripple. Okay, well, that's that part of it. But the waters would ripple if everything else came to surface. That some of these alien abductions were staged. That American citizens were kidnapped out of their own homes or a campground and subjected to this mind torture, and then placed back. And then I don't think that the reaction would be as civil as it was through the disclosure that happened back in December of 2017.
Yeah, I agree. No, there'd be rioting. Well, I don't know. See, that's the problem. It's a small population, so you wouldn't really have riots, but you're definitely going to have some angry people with some lawsuits heading somebody's way.
Well, do you think that if there was a document dump, something with Wikipedia, some anonymous goes and hacks into the CIA's computers or the NASA computers, and they get a bunch of footage, right? Real footage of ET, Area 51, real craft, real situations, real documents that can't be questioned. Now we've got a situation that is a little bit different than gun camera footage, by an aircraft carrier in San Diego.
Right. Definitely. Yeah. Then it's real, man. It's all out there in the public, and everybody knows about it. How would that change? How would that change our religion? Would religion fall apart? I don't think so. I don't think so. What do you think?
Well, I'm surprised that the Vatican didn't react through all of this mass media. At least have a statement.
Yeah, they didn't come out with a statement. That's right, they did not. They've come out with statements in the past about ET, the possibility of ET, but not surrounding soft disclosure 2017.
What do you think the next step is when it comes to what is happening now? And I'm referring to, I mean, could TTSA really, I mean, not really, but actually produce more videos that allegedly are released from the Pentagon?
Well, it's possible. You know, they got egg on their face with that balloon, the Mylar balloon photo.
Right.
So their credibility is sort of whacked out. I think it's going to come from Bigelow. I think that they're going to start talking about maybe a metal that they've recovered or some sort of a material that can't be manufactured on this planet. Something that's laid down at the molecular level in layers, composites, something like that we don't have the ability to do. And some kind of disclosure like that. Here we have a physical thing that everybody can study, and this is it. We just can't make it. We can look at it, but we don't know how to make it yet.
Well, this is what I want from Bigelow. Okay, and I'm being straight. This is what I want from Bigelow. I want like 3 questions answered. Number 1, the materials that you allegedly have, it's, you know, we haven't had a press conference, we haven't seen any materials, we haven't seen any evidence of anything, but the reports are that he's got a warehouse in Las Vegas funded by the Pentagon to study these materials. Okay, so let's say that he does. Then the materials that you have, were they A, from Roswell? Were they from a crashed, retrieved craft by the military and then is supplied to you directly from the craft? Number 1. Number 2, are the materials from civilians, where civilians say that they went out on their farm, found some trace evidence, and then sent it to you? Or 3, are these materials just whatever that you can't identify and you're trying to figure out what it is, but you don't know where they came from? I want one of those questions answered, or all 3, because that is what is most important here. Because, and I'll tell you right now, if Bigelow has in his warehouse a piece of a control panel, a seat, how about a helmet? How about a piece of clothing from E.T.?
Yeah.
I'm talking about the real deal stuff. Then he should go public. I don't care what your oath is. I don't care what your agreement is. You become the biggest hero in the history of mankind. That's what you do at that point. Come forward and go, here is a piece of a seat. Here it is. Here it is. Here is the dashboard. Right. Here it is.
Right.
This is ET technology. Here it is. Here's a chunk.
Here's the hull of the ship. Here's a section of the hull.
That's right. And that's what you do. And anything else beyond that, then it's just whatever. Then it was something that was found in a field. It was something that somebody found. It was on archaeological dig, and it's some strange-looking piece of material. You know, but if it came from a craft and was sent to him to investigate, then go public with it. Be a martyr. You know, and I'm serious. I'm serious.
I know you are, but
could you imagine?
He's looking. He's looking at $1 billion industry.
Who cares? He would be.
And if anybody has the guts to do it, I think it's him. But in that he is a businessman, the inclination is to control the information to his benefit for as long as possible, and then finally release it to the world.
You know what? 5,000 years from now, 5,000 years from now,
I know.
No, if he stepped up right now and brought out the dashboard, the Statue of Liberty would be replaced with the Statue of Bigelow.
Yeah,
he would be the most famous man in the history of everything.
Right.
So you know why,
Jim? I'm after the propulsion system. You know what I mean?
Be the most famous man. Right. So it says to me that he doesn't have that stuff. That's my point. Okay, do you understand?
Maybe it's just something that he has. It's but it's just so small. It's just like, again, it's a thing the size of your thumb that's layered molecularly, that has an isotope that you couldn't produce here, you know, something like that, that you just can't produce it. He doesn't know how it was made. Here it is. We can look at it through an electron microscope, you know, the best that we have, and this is it, but we don't know how to make it. Maybe it's something like that.
Well,
you know what I mean?
And there's probably tons of that on this planet, from meteorites, things that have crashed to this, you know, that have come from the solar system over the years. There's probably tons of that. I am referring to, what is it that he has? Does he have a chunk of a piece of a flying saucer that was
I think we're going to find out soon. I bet you I would say before the end of this year, you're going to hear something from Bigelow. That's my guess. I don't know why I'm saying that. I'm just thinking that's where it's headed. You know, he stepped out last May with the 60-minute interview. And
great interview.
Yeah, it was. He stuck his neck out, man, and he said, "I don't care."
Right.
You know what? You know, aren't you afraid that other people are going to make fun? I don't care. And he has, you know, he has the guns to say that. You know what I mean? He's controlling the situation, so he has the guns to say that. You know, someone like me who's in the regular world, who has to do business, you know, I can't proselytize on the corner about ET when I'm trying to sell multi-million-dollar homes. You know what I mean? People are not going to let me list their house, but he's into it, so that's cool.
There would be a religion based on him if he came forward. I'm just saying.
There might already be.
I know. Let's take a break.
There might already be.
Take a break right here. Our guest tonight, the one and only Steve Murillo. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. I'll be right back.
Hi everybody, this is Rob Halford, the Metal God, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on the smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRARadio.com.
What can I say about the most popular tea on the internet? And what do customers say about Life Change Tea at GetTheTea.com? A lot. But by federal law, we at GetTheTea.com cannot make claims to how this product can enhance your health. We cannot even post our testimonies without being in compliance. So how do we get past the hump? Try our products at GetTheTea.com and see for yourself. You can send us a testimony, but we just can't post it. Bummer. Our products are GMO-free and organic. We pride ourselves in being the best we can be, and we urge you to take charge of your health. We're 11 years strong, and many of our customers have shared their successes with friends and family. Protect your colon. Log on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. GetTheTea.com. GetTheT.com.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why fade to black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight is Steve Murillo. Talking about all things UFO tonight. Somehow we tied Bigfoot back to UFOs once again. Steve, I want to ask you this. Not to kick a dead horse, but right. when it comes to ATIP, right, and the Pentagon, and there's this $22 million over 5 years, which is nothing when we talk about $21 trillion being missing, $22 million. And the Pentagon said that there wasn't anything, they needed to spend the money elsewhere and so forth. Okay, all right, I'll go with that. But this is where my mind wanders. I want your opinion. When it comes to ATIP, and you got to picture, this is what the community has been led to believe, that there's a secret government program going on at the Pentagon called ATIP. And somebody's running through the Pentagon, right? Some Air Force dude. Hey, man, I got this UFO report and I got this footage. What do we do? Take it down to ATIP. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay.
And so, they're right there next to the cafe.
Right. So you run down the hall and you run into the ATIP offices and you give them this UFO report, and ATIP is now going to investigate. And the ATIP team is on the case, right? Wait a minute. I want to know from Lewis how many people worked under him at ATIP. I bet you the number is 0.
I bet you are correct.
I bet you the number is 0.
You are correct.
Okay? And that this $22 million, okay, wasn't anywhere inside of the Pentagon. There was no ATIP computer sitting on an ATIP desk in an ATIP office with an ATIP, right? No. That $22 million went to Bigelow, right? So are we to go and investigate these metamaterials? Okay, fine. Okay. But as far as ATIP goes and having offices inside of the Pentagon and Luis Elizondo sitting there, in his ATIP office, that didn't exist. That's my gut feeling. I have nothing to go on here, but I just don't think that is the case. But the community has been led to believe that is what happened, and so I would like to have Lewis answer that question. How big was your staff? But I bet you the answer is 0. There was no staff. ATIP wasn't that kind of situation. There wasn't a big crew of investigators looking at these videos and these reports and interviewing pilots and talking.
Right.
It just
didn't
exist.
A little office full of guys. No, it didn't exist.
No,
it was Elizondo, maybe who answered to maybe somebody above him in the Pentagon, and Harry Reid. And how do we get this money? Yeah, that's a really good possibility, Jim. Yeah, how do we just give this money to Bigelow so he can study this metamaterial? How do we do that? Okay, let's create this little charade. Elizondo. Yeah, but then why bring out Elizondo as a? Why not just keep it secret? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why come forward on whatever December, was it December 16th?
Yes.
2017. So why come forward on that day? Why do all that? If you're gonna keep something, if you want to keep a secret, don't tell anybody, right? So why bring it up? Just leave it. So I don't know, man. I don't know, but I agree with you. I don't think there's this little office where all these dudes were, studying UFO pictures and looking at footage. No, I told you that story, I think, a long time ago when I was at Cherry Point. We happened to be there for a cross country, and we're at the O Club, which is what we love to do at the end of a flight, right? So we're there. It's a Friday night, and two of my buddies roll in. They're from Cherry Point, and they were F4 guys, F4 Phantom drivers, and they had been vectored to chase a UFO. And that day, it happened that day. So this is the story they told us. We're getting drunk, and we all laughed at them. That they were vectored to chase this object. They took gun camera footage of it. It sped away at a high rate of speed, of course, right? But they got footage of it. They were made to land, and then made to go to a hangar that nobody used, and made to sit in a little office. Inside the hangar, there are always little offices there. They were made to sit there and wait until this guy from Washington showed up in a little Learjet, got off the jet, got the gun camera footage, threw it in his briefcase, and then looked at him and said, "This never happened. You guys can't talk about this." Got back on the plane and left. Okay, so that guy had to take that stuff somewhere, that footage, right? He had a mission. Somebody got that footage. And my point is the military has a way of dealing with this information. They always have. I don't know what it is. Probably a lot of guys don't know, right? So, but it exists, and it has existed. So where did all that footage end up? Maybe in a little room that nobody knows about with some guys that nobody ever sees or talks to. I don't know, man. It's really interesting, but I guarantee you $22 million is not going to take care of much. That might pay for two guys for a couple of years, and that's about it. Do research and get equipment.
Well, how does the gun camera footage work? In that, is it rolling all the time, or do you have to turn it on?
You turn it on.
Okay, so in the case with these guys, how long do you think the footage was?
No idea. No, I would guess maybe just minutes, just a couple minutes.
Okay. Now, when we go back.
Yeah, go ahead.
We go back to this footage that these three pieces of video that have been around on the web. Some of it has been around for 10 years. It's not like anyway, when you look at this footage is only seconds long, right? A minute here, but there's footage before and after that is not there. Right? And like this Go Fast video. Well, where's the footage before this clip and where's the footage after? And what were the results? What were the pilots saying before and what were the pilots saying after? And did they come to any conclusions? Because I think that's the best part of the footage is the before and after stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right. Yeah, because and maybe what they saw is classified. Maybe they're not disclosing, or they didn't want you to know that this thing went from 60,000. They didn't want you to see it go from 60,000 feet to 15 foot above the deck in seconds, right?
Right.
Because what would that look like? What would it mean if you see a craft that can outperform everything in your inventory? Just and when you see something streak off, kind of like that thing we saw in the desert, right? When you see something do those things, it just blows the lid right off the top of your head. You just it totally destroys any construct of physics that you ever had. You know what I mean? So, and maybe that's what they're keeping from not only the general public but other countries. Who knows?
Well, and then the possibility exists. Let's talk about like the gimbal footage, right? And you're watching that thing twist and turn, and it looks like the object is turning when it could very well be just the gimbal itself is turning. The object is not turning. It's just the gimbal, the FLIR is turning. But anyway, after that footage, just maybe, I'm saying there's the possibility of the pilot then saying, yeah, that F-18 sure did look strange in the FLIR, didn't it? Right? I mean, what if it's...
In other words, it was fake and they're perpetrating a fraud.
No, the footage is real, but you don't hear the before and after. You know, the possibility before the clip before the clip starts. Okay, man, let's go ahead and vector in on these F-18s in this dog.
See, even like you're a civilian, right? You don't even know how pilots talk, but right now you're demonstrating that they should be speaking in a professional manner, and they'd be talking about come left, turn heading 090 blah blah blah. I'm going in, you're I'm in, you're off. They're using military commands. Like, what bothered me about that footage is the pilots are very, very casual. They're not using professional vernacular. They're going, dude, look at that. Something's not right about that. Like, if you're my wingman and, pick a call sign, what would I call? If you had to have a call sign, Jim, what would it be?
My call sign would be Coyote.
All right. Okay, Coyote, I'm going in, stay high, boom, and then, okay, I'm pulling out, I got three, I got it in the camera footage, I'm talking to you about what I'm doing and what I'm going to do next, so you can respond, right? And you're going to say, I'm staying high, okay, Raven, I got you, I got you at 12 o'clock, okay, it's moving left, jink right, whatever. You're going to be speaking to me in a jargon that's probably akin to air combat, right? We're going to be using air combat commands, probably.
Right.
These guys are like, what bothers me about the footage, and I haven't spoken to any other pilots about this, so maybe it's perfectly normal now in the Navy, but because it's been 30 years for me, right? But dude, what is that? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. It's bothering me. That whole thing bothers me.
What's bothering you about it? Are you suggesting that those aren't pilots? Those are actors? It's dubbed?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that their vernacular is awful loose, and maybe that's the way it is. I'm not saying that that's not real footage. I can't say that for a fact, right? I'm just saying it's off. That's a little off. And again, maybe in that sort of a situation. But see, here's the thing about Navy pilots. Okay, we train from beginning to end. Literally every flight, from first primary flight through advanced strike training, every single flight is all about pressure. Emergencies. The first thing they do, you take off, and the instructor fails your landing gear and says, okay, you got to fail landing gear and da-da-da-da-da, and you got to go through the procedure, your whole flight for an hour and a half or whatever it is, every training mission, you do hundreds of these things. It's just one failure after the next and one emergency after the next, and everything's very precise. And there's no room for casual conversation, and nobody there's no chat, hey, how's your day going up there, buddy? There's none of that stuff, right? But, again, it's been 30 years and maybe things have changed. Maybe with the budget cuts, they've kind of gotten loose. I don't know. I don't know, man. There's something wacky about that.
Steve, this is Fade to Black.
Yeah.
This is me, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Really say, what are you trying to say here, Steve? Are you saying that you watched the footage the first time, you listened to this, and you rolled your eyes? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I rolled my eye, and not at the visual, because the visual's sort of innocuous, but it's interesting. But the chatter is wrong. It just doesn't. It's just wrong to me. It feels on a gut level, it's wrong. Then again, I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I don't know. The BS meter is kind of at a half, or maybe even 70% right now with that. But again, I could be wrong.
I agree, but this is why I agree, not necessarily for your reasons. I go back to, but it's interesting that we came to the same conclusion, though. But I go back to what I want to know what the pilots were talking about and saying before and after the footage. I want to know exactly what was going on there. And that would then lean to the conversation that was happening in the middle, right? Where and with the visuals that were going on. And the fact that part of the footage has not been released, that's where I start to question things, because I think everything would be answered. Either it's ET and it's UFOs, or it is not, right? But the questions would be answered, and they've left that hanging out there. And I know that there's more footage. You know, there's more to the clip than what we are seeing. You know, it's longer and it's more complete. They released this little tiny clip in the middle with these guys going, "Wow, what the bleep is that?"
You know what, Jim? I just had an obvious thought. Okay, so let's say you record this information, right? You want to disclose to the public, but the radio chatter is confidential. It's classified. Okay, maybe you're talking about something your aircraft is doing that it's not supposed to be able to do, or something that thing's doing. So what if you want to bring this information out, but you have to dub the footage, right?
Right.
Just water it down so that the public can wrap their minds around it. What if the chatter is just information that you and I wouldn't necessarily be able to discern? You know what I mean? The general public wouldn't be able to discern.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they dub it. Maybe that. Remember how when this first came out, John Lear called BS on it.
Right.
Remember that?
Yes.
He said, and it was about the static behind the chatter that he didn't like. But there's another pilot, because he's an accomplished pilot. He's flown everything. Who it didn't ring true with. And for me, it's not the static, but it's just the wording is wrong. So maybe let's say the footage is real, but what if they had to dub it? Maybe that's what happened. I don't know. But how do you? If you're trying to come out with a truth, you don't necessarily want to do it with fraudulent information or like half truths. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you're trying to get people on your side, it's kind of like the Mylar balloon, that To the Stars Academy threw up there as an authentic UFO. Once you do that, once it's discovered, your credibility is trashed, and that's a shame. Because especially if you're up to something good, and you got one pulled over you. I think that's what happened to our friend.
The other part of it, because credibility is everything in the UFO community. You've been fighting the good fight for nearly 20 years now, Steve, and you've seen so many experiencers, eyewitnesses, videographers, authors come and go. Right, and once your credibility is blown with this community, you're done. You're toast. You're done.
Absolutely.
You don't get a second crack at it. And when it comes to this stuff with the Pentagon and TTSA, when you say that the Pentagon has released these videos to TTSA, when it turns out that the videos have been out there on the web and they've been analyzed and looked at and talked about and debunked or whatever, for some of it for a very, very long time, how do you recover from that? What does TTSA do to get their feet back on the ground and get the confidence back from the UFO community?
Yeah, you haven't heard a statement from them about that, and it's a shame. The first thing, damage control, the first thing that should have happened as soon as that information came out about the Mylar balloons is they should have come out and made a statement.
Well, they technically did. They said,
what was it?
Yeah, they said some boilerplate thing. We didn't know it was somebody else in the organization, and it was just put up there, and it was just, it wasn't
a last-minute thing, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't good enough. That wasn't
whatever.
well thought out.
Whatever.
That wasn't well thought out.
Right.
You got to accept responsibility. You got to, first of all, take responsibility for the mistake, right? And that should have come from Tom DeLonge. He should have come out with a statement. I am so embarrassed about this. This is what happened. This is exactly what happened. It'll never happen again, and here's why. And blah blah blah. Own up. If you want to stay in business. Yeah, you're right, man. So many people come into the UFO world thinking they're going to perpetrate this hoax and never get caught. And it works for a while, but eventually, they crash and burn, and they come and they go, and they crash and they burn. The ones that stay forever are the ones like Jim Mars, super integrity, always well-researched, and no bullshit, no BS.
Right.
So those are the guys that stay.
Yeah, well, you look at Dolan or Stanton Friedman or Linda Moulton Howe, and they've all stumbled too as well.
Sure.
But there's that side of it, and then you flip that completely over, and you go back to somebody like Bob Lazar, who certainly rode through a pretty good thunderstorm of being debunked and questioned, and schooling. Everything about him was brought forward to the point where the brothel, right? I mean, everything was brought. I mean, the poor guy. But here,
poor guy, and very bright, and he was smart about it. Though he said, "You know what? I'm not even into this. This is totally not for me. I'm going to go make my money elsewhere." He never went at it as if he was going to get on the circuit and be a speaker for the rest of his life. He told his story. That's what I love about Lazar. Is I think he was totally legit. What I love about him is he just told his story and said, "Hey, believe me or you don't believe me, I don't care. I'm out of here."
And here he is today, right? Like others, where he didn't come and go. Physically he did, but today he is held up high in the UFO community. There are still, those out there that want to question him, but today he's the guy. And nobody impresses me like Bob Lazar. And I've gone back, Steve, repeatedly. I have forced Rita to analyze all of his videos, all of his presentations, to go through this with me. And
poor Rita, hours and hours, right?
But
it's fascinating. It really is.
I've tried to trip him up. And I can't do it. I can't. And here we are today. This is 2018, man. We're talking nearly 30 years of Bob Lazar, where I think his story is as strong today as it ever has been, and here he is, and we hold him up, and which goes back to TTSA. How do you recover from these mistakes? I think that the other part for TTSA, and I'm just going to say this, their silence on the matter is deafening, crushing.
Yeah. What are you going to do? You're going to, come out and ask for more money? At that point, what do you do? So, they're going to have to, something legit is going to have to come out of Bigelow that's going to somehow tie in with TTSA and save them. Otherwise, I don't think they're going to last much longer.
You think you're already talking past tense?
Yeah, who knows? Again, I think TTSA has been used as I think that Tom DeLonge, as nice of a guy, I think he's been used by the same people who are, he's been used unwittingly by the same people who are using Elizondo wittingly.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same. Puppet master using them both to do whatever they're doing. I don't know if it's soft disclosure or a testing of the waters to see how the public responds, or change. Who knows what's coming next. Bottom line is, it's coming from a clandestine world, and when it does, when that's the case, when you're dealing with a clandestine environment, you can't take anything at face value. They're thinking 2 or 3 or 4 steps ahead of you already, so you're at a disadvantage.
Well, when I talk to Tom on the phone, nobody nicer, cooler, more enthusiastic about the subject than Tom. I mean, a very cool, likable guy. I mean, I could seriously just hang out with him and talk music and UFOs and guitars all day and all night. I'm being serious about that.
Speaks volumes. You know what I mean? He's a great guy, and he was a great musician. So there you go.
He called me up one day and we were sitting here. I was in the bunker, and I said, "Dude, man, I just got a Jackson guitar, right?" And he goes, "Dude, man, you always love those pointy headstock guitars." And, it cracked on me, really. Dude, I asked for it, too. I mean, I just totally asked for it. But we laughed together, and I'm just saying he's a cool guy.
Yeah.
And these mistakes that have happened, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what the future is when it comes to that. Well, what are you going to be speaking about at Contact in the Desert? We're almost out of time here. I can't believe it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, thank you for asking. It's going to be about ET contact and evolution of the human mind, basically. So it's Sunday morning at 7 a.m. and I had the same gig 2 years ago when I spoke there, and I thought, there'll be like 3 people in the room. The place was packed.
Right.
The room was packed. People that go to Contact go for the answers. And, I'm going to be putting an emphasis on experiencers and contactees and abductees. And those people resonate, you know what I mean? They and especially the ones that are sort of just now awakening to it, they want to get answers. And those people are out there and probably hear my voice and say, I'm going to be there for this one. I've been putting some time into it. I hopefully we'll be able to pass some information that people find useful, and it's a good presentation.
Well, you're going to be getting out there Thursday, so we'll see you on Thursday. The cool thing is we get to hang out because we're going to be setting up our booths next to each other.
We're side by side, baby.
And then right next to that is a bar. So there you go. All right. I'll see you. Rita and I will see you Thursday afternoon.
Look forward to it, Jim.
Thank you so much, Steve. All the best.
Thanks.
Safe travels.
Yeah, say hi to Rita for me.
She's right down the hall. I'll talk to you.
Okay.
You
All
got
right,
it.
buddy. Take care. All right.
Steve Murillo. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Now, I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to come back and take all of your phone calls next. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. I'll be right back. Stay with me.
Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numanna banner on jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously, go Beckley Teppy. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hey, can we talk about something serious for a minute? Your age. Getting old has its perks. But remember, being a few years younger, you know, your hair was thicker, you didn't have so many wrinkles, that extra weight wasn't haunting you, and you just felt better. Well, we can't turn back the clocks and go back 10 or 15 years, but you can start feeling and looking 10 or 15 years younger with Nature's Youth RSF. It's a doctor-formulated daily supplement that helps your body maintain its peak performance and fight the aging process. Imagine sleeping better, looking better, and feeling better. See how Nature's Youth RSF has helped thousands of people just like you at naturesyouth.com. naturesyouth.com. The holidays are coming. Imagine how it will feel when your family and friends are asking you what you did to look so good. Your secret will be Nature's Youth RSF. It's time to start looking better and feeling better. Learn more and order your Nature's Youth RSF at naturesyouth.com. That's naturesyouth.com.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Open lines right now, 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. I wanted to, Rita and I saw a movie, believe it or not, with Coast to Coast all weekend and Fade to Black all last week, and I know I wrote this article about our schedule over the next month. It's pretty insane. No time off. But Rita and I managed to see a movie this weekend that you've got to check out. It's called Annihilation. And if you haven't seen it yet, the script, the way that it is written, the storyline behind it, completely 100% original. Now it stars Jennifer Jason Leigh, Natalie Portman, and it's based on a novel by Jeff Vandermeer. And Gina Rodriguez is in it too. She's really, really good. And Oscar Isaac, who I always confuse with Adrian Grenier. It's I don't know how to put it into words. The film is it's about E.T. Now, they suggest that in the very beginning. Okay, so that it could possibly be extraterrestrial, and so you don't really know. But anyway, it's about this area. It's called the Shimmer, And which again, that's all set up in the very beginning of the movie, so I'm not giving anything away. But this is what's trippy about the flick. Totally original script, number one. Number two, just when you think that it's going to go in one of two directions, like it's going to be a horror film, or that it's going to be some E.T. Terminator type thing, when you think it's going to go in either one of those directions, it does not. Scientifically, and the biology side of it is pretty amazing. Now, this is a film that I'm going to highly suggest that every single one of you watches, number one. And number two, I think it's going to be discussed for a while. A lot like Arrival or Interstellar or 2001: A Space Odyssey. I think Annihilation, the title of the film is misleading. Now, the title of the film at the end of the film makes perfect sense. But when you see it, Annihilation, you're gonna be put off by it. So don't worry about the title. Go and watch the film. It is incredible. It's absolutely incredible. The story and everything else. There you go. All right, let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
The Awakening Man.
The Awakening Man. This must be Eric?
Eric. Yeah. At the Indio House, we're here. We figured out a way. We've got Cortana and Gigi sitting there next to me, and we're so excited about CITD, Jimmy. I just had to call. I'm just pumped. This is the best event in the history of ufology and consciousness. It's not just that; it's an experience. People don't understand. It's not like you're going to show up and you're going to sit in a room and listen to a lot of intelligent people tell great stories. This is an experience, and anybody who doesn't get here is really missing the boat. Do you agree with me, Timmy?
Of course I agree with you, but wait a minute. You said you're in the Fader House?
We're at the Fader House, and it's right 5 miles down the road. We're in a secluded, gated community, so we can't have any CIA come and visit us.
Oh, right on. So you're going to give the address out over the air right now,
Absolutely,
right?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
If you're a Fader not, and you're welcome, obviously, but you need to get a hold of me because there's like a secret code that you actually have to give there's a guard here. Literally a guard 24/7 at the fence, and he will not let you in. If you're CIA, you're not getting in. I just want to let people know right now. So,
have you you know what you got to do? You got to go up to that guy. You got to slip him a Hunsky.
It's funny because I already gave him 20. I thought he was
20.
Dude, here's $20. We're gonna have a few people stop by. Just be patient with us.
Okay. Who's in the background?
We got Cortana. Of course,
Oh, Cortana's there.
Hi,
Cortana.
Jimmy.
How are you?
Gobekli Tepe it up.
Okay, sounds like you're Gobekli Tepe already.
I am so deeply Gobekli Tepe. Like our contact in the desert starts right now.
Are you guys ready?
We are getting prepped.
Yeah, and
we can't wait to see everybody else out there.
We're fully prepped. Jimmy, are you coming Thursday? I just want to know. Are you coming up Thursday, or what's the plan?
Yes, I will be there. Rita and I will be pulling in Thursday afternoon.
Okay, so just so you know, if you guys need a place to crash, you can have the master bedroom. You're welcome. We're going to have a full bar. It's fantastic. You're going to love it. You guys got to show up. On Thursday night, we're going to have the pre-CITD party. And then, of course, we'll figure it out Friday, Saturday night, whatever we can put together. It's all going to happen right here.
Well, I'm just going to let you know we have the presidential suite on the top floor.
Oh, you got the presidential suite. You know what? I don't know who paid for that, but I checked that out. That's like $846. Are you aware of that?
It's pretty sweet.
It's
pretty sweet. So now, listen, Eric, I just wanted to say that I did watch your 10-minute walkthrough video of the Renaissance, and that place, it's beautiful, but it's big, isn't it?
It's massive, and you know what's awesome is you walk in, the layout is beautiful. All the speakers in the conference rooms are on the left-hand side, and they're all lined up on that massive building. And so it's just so convenient. You can go from one room to the next room, the way all the tables will be laid out, where the bar is, if you want to go and swim for a little while. Oh, man, this is 5-star. I mean, I'm going to miss Joshua Tree, but this is 5-star. Anybody that's coming, you're going to get a 5-star experience. That's a fact. I'm going to guarantee that right now.
Now, did you get a chance to go into the big amphitheater?
I did. Oh, man, I don't want to ruin any surprises, but let me tell you, this is such a bargain, and I get nothing for saying this other than I know, based on doing this for over a year now and trying to go as many events as I can, this is such a fantastic bargain. Anybody that's on the fence has just got to figure out a way to get here. And if, you know, you need a place to crash, bring a sleeping bag, we'll figure it out. But the point is you just got to get here. I'm just serious. This is just going to be fantastic.
Now, I counted I could be wrong, but did I count 5 bars in your walkthrough? I did, right? Well,
there's the main bar, and then then there's the bar at the pool, which is just out. Jesus, how can you beat a bar at a pool?
Right.
You get the misters blowing, so if it's it is 100 degrees, but it's a dry heat, and with the misters blowing, you're indoors. It's going to feel like a beautiful spring day. It's going to be fantastic.
This is why I'm bringing it up, because Joshua Tree, which is an amazing piece of land, it's great, but there wasn't a place to go and hang out. You had to leave to go and do that, right? And so that opportunity was not there. Here, there is a place for everybody to get together in different areas and spots around where we can just hang out and talk, and we don't have to leave. And that's why I'm bringing it up. I'm not bringing it up. Well, of course we're going to be drinking and conversing and having fun, but there wasn't any place to do that. There wasn't any facilities. And the other thing is, over at Joshua Tree, you had the food trucks, but you only had the cafeteria there. So you always had to leave the grounds. There wasn't any place to just go, kick back, sit down, relax, and have a glass of water or something. We didn't have that over in Joshua Tree. Here we do have that, and I think that's important, especially when you have 5,000 people.
Yeah, I mean, Victoria and the gentleman, his name slips me. What's his name again?
Paul Andrews.
Yes, he's great people. And they have done, I'm telling you, if I had their job, I wouldn't have done it any differently. I think they picked the perfect spot. It's really, it's not far from the airport. I'm excited. I mean, I came out here, seriously, I'm so jacked up. I came out here a week ago, and I stayed out in Joshua Tree because I just wanted to feel that vibe that I didn't get a chance to really fully experience last year because I was mostly at the conference listening to the speakers, which was great. But there is a vibe to Joshua Tree that is different than Indian Wells. But Indian Wells has so many amazing cultural experiences. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be insane.
Now,
and there's this place called the Boo. Just how could I tell you this? There's right across the way. It's called the Boo. It's an exclusive bar restaurant. So we might be hanging out there if it gets too crazy at the Renaissance, but it's literally right across the way. So it's pretty fantastic.
Now, who are you looking forward to going to see this year?
Oh, geez. They're really, I like Richard Dolan. I just personally, if I grew up in New York and Richard Dolan was like a schoolmate of mine, he'd be one of my buddies. There's no doubt about it. That guy is just a sharp dude. He's on top of things. He does his homework. I mean, I'm going to try. Hopefully Richard will come over to the Fader House over here and hang out with us. I mean, we really want to encourage as many of the speakers and the Fadernauts to come over and hang out with us. It's plenty of room. We could easily fit 60 to 80 people here comfortably, but, we can't invite the whole world. But Richard Dolan, he's the man.
Okay.
That's my first pick.
Yeah.
And Emery Smith, is he going to be there, by the way?
Yes, Emery Smith will be there.
Okay, I'll tell you what, Jimmy. You get a full-blown bottle of Grey Goose vodka. I don't care what size. If you get Emery to come over and hang out at the Fader House, that's on the house. So just so you know, I like that guy. That guy's he's number 2 in my book.
Yeah. Very excited that he's been added over at Contacting the Desert. That was a really, really, really big deal. I mean, the addition of Emery to a list of speakers that's already so complete. How do you take it to 11? Where do you go?
God.
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, I just something about that guy. It's an intuition. It's just an internal knowing. I believe him, and he's actually sharing things that's helping us kind of put this puzzle together. And I believe the guy, and I think what he's sharing is important, and I'm excited about it.
Who else is there with you right now?
Right now, we just got Gigi and Cortana, and then Thursday, flying in from Florida, is John Polk, and Brad Olson's been hanging out there. They did a seminar out there, I guess, this last weekend. And several, Karen's going to come in. We've got a lot of people coming in Thursday, so we're going to have a nice little pre-CITD party here Thursday. So you've got the addresses,
Okay.
Let me know when you're coming, we'll get you all set up.
Okay, let me talk to Gigi.
Okay, hey, Gigi.
Yeah, make it quick. I don't like dead air on the radio. Gigi.
Ahoy there.
How are you, man?
Fantastic, man. Got to give it to Eric, man. He, we didn't really know if we were going to have a spot this year, and then Eric quite literally saved the day, and it's pretty sick, man. I got to say, I'm going to miss Joshua Tree. I think those, I don't know how we could ever top that, but at the same time, it looks like, you can already feel the energy here, like Eric was saying.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And for this year at CITD, who do you want to go see?
Man, you know what? Well, that's the thing about CITD is, because I've been this will be my 4th year, and, a lot of the times it's great to see the speakers, obviously, but some of the most memorable moments that I've had were, conversations in between the events and meeting new people, because, people do literally come from all over the world, and it's the biggest conference of the year, and so, I've seen a lot of people, they just they show up in the morning, they hit a couple events, and then they leave, because maybe they think that's all there is. But if there's anything I could recommend is to just hang around all day, just meet everybody you can meet, and, everybody is resonating on this higher frequency, if you will. Everybody's already in that state, and so everybody you meet, it's just I don't know. It's like the Burning Man for our industry, if you will. Yeah. Maybe not quite as rambunctious.
Yeah, you're right about that. Have you seen the film Annihilation? No, you haven't.
I don't think so.
It's brand new. It just got released. You need to watch Annihilation. Let me talk to Eric real quick. Gigi, I'll see you in 2 days.
All right, yeah, we'll see you here, man, and I will check that out. All right.
Let me talk to Eric.
Hey, one quick question, Jimmy. I've never asked you this, but I know you can play the guitar, and I don't really care how good you are. I just want to ask you, please just bring, and even if it's an acoustic guitar, just bring it with you, bro. Oh God, whatever it takes. I would love to just have a little jam session with you. Eric, off the record,
Eric. I know that you're rich. But you just
no, it has nothing to do with that.
You don't have that kind of money. That you just don't have. You just don't have it. Jimmy, you just don't have it. I mean, look, everybody's got their price.
Okay, so let me. You're funny. Oh shit. So what if we do like some sort of promo deal where we do it for Fade to Black and we can raise some money? I mean, what's it going to take? I mean, let's get down to the bottom line here.
15 minutes of me shredding. $10,000.
Holy shit!
$10,000, and you know what? I will play it all. I'll play you some Yngwie. I'll play you some Van Halen. I'll play some of my original songs.
Installment payments.
And but just think, no, it's cash in advance. Cash in advance.
I'll tell you what. I would commit to $1,000, $2,000 a year for 5 years.
Oh God!
I'm serious. that's about the extent of my budget. Man. But if you want to do it, I'll commit to that. And if I renege, you can sign me off as a Fader or not.
Okay.
Sign me off.
Now, something much more important than my guitar playing And is this? There's a movie out. It's called Annihilation. Okay, it's with Natalie Portman and Jennifer Jason Leigh. You've got DirecTV there, right? You've got Netflix,
yes,
whatever.
I do.
You've got.
It's on Netflix.
Okay, it's yeah, you can get it on DirecTV. Just Annihilation. You guys need to watch that film tonight.
Oh no! We've had way too much to drink to try to go down that rabbit hole.
Oh man, you have no idea. You have.
We're talking about aliens annihilating the planet.
That's what I'm saying. The name of the film has nothing to do with what the film is about.
Just give me a little tip. Just give me a little tip.
I can't. Then I'll blow it for the entire audience.
All right.
Just let me say this. I guarantee you, you're going to get to the end of that, and you are going to come up to me and go, "Church, that was the best E.T. film I've ever seen."
Okay, well, you know what? I'm gonna have to sign up. You just closed me right there.
It's right up there with Arrival, 2001: A Space Odyssey, Close Encounters, Interstellar.
Really? Hold on. Is this a brand new movie? Why have we not heard about this already? I don't understand.
That's why you listen to me.
You are the sleeper. You're the sleep master.
I'm telling you. It is.
Annihilation. Okay, who's the star? You said Jennifer Jason Leigh and Natalie Portman.
That's right. It's an all-female. All-female.
Who's the male stars? Is there a male star in there somewhere?
Isaac. What's his name? I forget his last name. What's his name? His name is Oscar Isaac. Oscar Isaac. But it's an all-female cast.
Wow. Yep. I'm down.
I'm telling you, man. I'm going
to check it out. Annihilation. I've got Netflix. We got a 60-inch plasma. This place, what a deal. Let me just tell you, it's not about being rich. I'm just going to tell you, we're talking $81 a day. When you see this place and you say you pay $81 a day for this, you're going to want to shake my hand just for that alone.
Wow.
We got a pool table. We got a dartboard. We got a full-blown bar here. We've got a beautiful living room with this guy's got disco lights. He calls it the number one. Well, I can't say on here, but anyway, you're gonna like it. It's got air conditioning. Anybody that comes here is gonna have a good time. God, I just wish all these Badernauts that are on the fence would just pull it out and get here. I'm hear too many whiners out there. Jesus.
Yeah, I know. I have the feeling this is going to be the biggest and best contact in the desert yet. Yeah.
I'm going to bet on it right now. And I call, just so you know, I called Micah Hanks, talked to him for about 20 minutes. I tried to get him to come out, but he's got a wedding this weekend. But he's going to go to Soul Tech. And I said, I don't care if you're speaking or not, Micah. We need you out there. So you can count Michael. I'm pretty much 100% Micah Hanks is going to come out to hang out with us at Soul Tech.
Oh, really? That'll be fun. He's perfect for Soul Tech.
He's perfect.
Yeah,
I love Micah. He's one of the smartest, wittiest, most humorous guys on the radio. I mean, yeah, I'm grateful you introduced me to him out there at the Big Bear, with the Alien Snowfest. That guy he's a sleeper.
Man, Alien Snowfest. How many years ago was that? Jeez.
Jesus. Man. It seemed like 10 years ago, but that was a lot of fun, man. Jesus, God.
Well, it was a lot of fun.
All anybody has to do is have one Alien Snowfest experience, and they're done after that, right? If they're not done after that, there's no hope for them.
Well, the reason why that we had so much fun is because we were all together. And that was it. But anyway, listen, I got to fly. I got to roll credits.
Okay.
So I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys in a couple of days. Thursday we roll into town. Today's Monday. Let's not forget 3 days.
Let Rita know we got everything taken care of, so you guys don't have to worry about nothing. Literally everything.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that.
I'll talk to you.
Okay, brother. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. All right, that's Eric, Awakening Man. He's at the Fader House out there in Palm Springs, Indian Wells. Contact in the desert. We're going to be there. We're going to roll in on Thursday, and things kick off on Friday. And I agree with Eric. If you're on the fence, just get out there. That's all you got to do. It's when we say that it's the biggest and best and coolest and funnest and all of that, that's because it is. It is an insanely great event to go and hang out. All right. I want to thank Steve Murillo for coming in tonight. Always a great conversation with Steve. Tomorrow night, Daryl Sims is going to be here. And always great when Daryl joins the show. We've got a couple of things specifically that we're going to be talking about tomorrow night. And then Wednesday will be Fader night. We're moving it up one day because Thursday night we will be off air. We're going to be on the road. Friday night, we will be broadcasting live from Contact in the Desert, live studio audience. And just like we do every year, we'll probably run 14, 16 guests through the show in 3 hours. And that'll be Friday night. And we'll see everybody out at Contact in the Desert. And with that, believe it or not, that wraps another night of Fade to Black. Unbelievable weekend, month that Rita and I have had around here. Sleep and rest, it's so overrated. Fade to Black's executive producers Rita Camarion. Shows produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee, Dennis, and Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitoa, Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and syndication is KGRA, The Planet. It's broadcast owned and copyrighted 2018 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Until tomorrow night with Daryl Sims, I want everybody to be safe. Go Beckley Tepe.